Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a workshop and regular meeting on Tuesday, July 20th, 2010, at 5:40 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Workshop item A, discussion regarding City of Brownsville Park rules.
Mr. Patterson.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good evening. I'm doing a presentation today on the Parks and Recreation Department rules and regulations as far as park use goes. Appreciate your offer for me to be up here.
To the mic, Chris.
Can you hear me now? All right. I just want to start off, appreciate the time here, because it's very important for our community to know the rules of the parks. If we can go to the next one, please. In our parks inventory, there are 30 parks, approximately 1,000 acres. We have 23 miles of hike and bike trails. About 9 years ago, we had about 0 miles, so we've grown tremendously. One of the fastest growing in the state. We have 55 sports fields, 18 tennis courts, 3 gyms and pools, an 18-hole golf course, the event center, and the Ringgold Civic Pavilion. That's our inventory. It's a picture of one of the parks in central Brownsville. Used to be Sunrise Rotary Park. And I'm gonna go through this to where I feel that it was the best way possible to kind of break it into everybody, what we're trying to achieve here. The hike and bike trail is the most important thing right now that we're working on. Like I said, there's 23 miles. Paseo de la Resaca trail system has 7 miles of paved trails. The historical Battlefield Trail is known as Linear Park, but it's 2 separate parks. It's the Southern Pacific Linear Park. I should have said Pacific on there, but 9 miles of paved trails, and with all the grass and everything, totals about 200 acres plus. Monte Bella mountain bike trails is 7 miles of unpaved natural trails. So all in all, you have 23 miles of trails.
Chris, the
Yes.
top 2 trails, they do connect, right? They
Yes.
connect now?
Good pointing out. The Paseo de la Resaca was the first system, and once the Southern Pacific Railroad closed down, it was supposed to hook onto it. So really, you could be on the same trail for 16 miles, not get off of the trail. Thanks for pointing that out. And I added on here, the next slide was trail rules and etiquette. We're going to have a sign. There is etiquette when on trails. It's just like when you're driving on a street. Even though there's no laws against it, it's just an etiquette. I will have that up and posted soon. Now, there's a chapter of the city ordinances, Chapter 774. And basically, a lot of these have been in existence for a long time. There's been a couple amendments, and we've been looking at them for the last few years to see what we need to change. I think the most recent, obviously, was the fees that we changed or amended, and the Riverwalk Parkway was several years ago. This is a sample of one of the signs that we put up. We didn't want to go to the extreme of buying new signs before we looked at all the rules, and so we put these signs up. A lot of them haven't been tagged or vandalized, but it's just basic. It explains the basic rules of the parks. Now this is important because when you go to a park, you don't want to see the word no all the time. And basically, if you were to stand there and read it, you probably time at the park that's a lot of rules. But these things do need to be placed, especially for ordinances that are enforced. You have to have something that states which ordinance needs to be enforced. So I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but if you have any questions about any of them that are up there, of course, camping isn't in every park, obviously, but there are people that actually go. We had Hope Park. We had tents in that park at one point. That's considered camping by law, basically. The current rules and regulations concerning hours of operation are Sunday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. The special note is there's scheduled park events. For instance, Washington Park has Sombrero Festival. Obviously, that goes after 11. It has to be, it goes through my office, and we go through the city manager to extend. Not in every case, but we can extend it based upon whatever event it is, whatever request comes out. Rules and regulations concerning alcoholic beverages. Shall be unlawful for any person to possess or consume alcoholic beverages within the confines of any municipal park, located within the city limits, including all streets, parking areas therein, with the following exceptions. Morningside Park used to be our main softball park, and therefore alcohol is allowed within the softball complex. And it's going to be during special events. Washington Plaza during Sombrero Fest only. Dean Porter Park, obviously we have the Ringgold Civic Pavilion with weddings, and the outdoor pavilion and Camille Leitner Playhouse. And the sports park, golf center, and event center. The golf center actually has a license, but the other places are for events as well. This is formerly St. Charles Park. And I just need to mention this, our park system, hopefully within the next 2 years, will be recognized by the state officially. We're one of the top up and coming, they say urban park systems, because obviously our parks are in the urban setting. I just wanted to say that we're real proud of what we have down here if you travel around the state. And this is one of the features that some people think we shouldn't have, but yet you go into an area on St. Charles or wherever and you see something like this is refreshing. So I just had to throw that picture in there. I wanted to break down into the pets. A trend recently in the last several years in Texas, it's been for a while across the nation, but our pets. Dog parks are becoming very popular, and it's changing with times. But currently, City Ordinance Chapter 10, Section 10-91, running at large, prohibits persons from allowing a dog or other pet animal, not cats, to run at large. Basically requires that these animals be leashed. There are no ordinances concerning pets in particular in parks. We just go by that rule, that ordinance. Parks rules allow pets, however they need to be leashed and under the owner's and handler's control. There's one exception to that, and I'll touch on that here in a second at this point in time. And we threw this up here, my employees liked it, so no people without dogs, no dogs without people. So therefore, dogs are the only thing that we're concerned with as far as animals in the parks. It's been a big issue. Some people like to go to a park and not have dogs running wild, and some people love taking their dogs there. So this is pretty much why I threw this up here. Now, we could have gone through a whole list of reasons why not, but mostly this has come from an actual study. It was actually a critique that was given out in one of the cities in Texas. I don't recall if it was Beaumont or Austin. Big difference, but I don't recall what city it was. But it says a loose pet can frighten or injure people and or other animals. A loose pet may harass or frighten other park visitors. Pets must be leashed and under adult human control. I'll go to the next one in a second here. Basically, I was saying is not all loose pets are running from the community. Some people actually let their pets loose and let them run in a park. There's packs of dogs, and it just goes on and on and on. But one thing that I'm really, really particular about, and it's not a trend, it's just whenever you have large gatherings of sports parks where, basketball courts, tennis courts, whatever, where animals should not be, when you put it into a park setting with a sports park, it's like 150 acres. You have vast areas where people want to let their dogs run loose, and you can't do that. You can't. It's in our rules for the whole park system. I do want to note this real quick. The dogs trained to assist visually or hearing impaired individuals are able to be in all areas. So I had to make sure that was on there. That's one of the issues, if you ask any heated issues and things that are very important to people, is this issue. If somebody wants to go work out at the sports park, can they bring a dog? Currently, the rules state no. So I had to point that out.
That's where I get most of my phone calls and emails, is the fact that pet owners aren't allowed to take their pets to the sports park, even though they're leashed. And it's a public park, and it's a valid concern, and I understand your concern too. But on that same token, there could be a concern about alcohol at the park being a hindrance or a concern for some of the other patrons of the park. Right. So I don't understand why we have one park where we don't allow leashed pets. And I know that there is security present. Right. Why isn't it possible that same security could enforce a leashed pet?
Well, basically the security can't enforce anything because it's an ordinance. They have to be on leash. Sports parks, especially soccer complexes, I had to look into this. This was before this presentation. I came in after the sports park was open, but every sports park that I've been dealing with and talking with has this law in effect, not a law, it has this regulation in effect because of the amounts of people that gather at those locations. I do have a lot of people that don't want pets at the park. Fortunately, there's 30 parks in the city and 29 of them allow this. But it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. It's just I have a lot of people calling that like it, and I have a lot of people that calling that don't. So we're here for the community. I mean, I'm doing it as more of a safety deal. Is that soccer complex, you have lots of people out there. People like to take their dog and watch games, and I can't have that into that situation. Kids are running, you know, it's an active place, and dogs aren't really, it's just a standard, I guess, in the industry. So that's where the rule came from. I did need to say that. It just didn't make up a rule. It came from that in the sports park setting. That's our only park that we don't allow the pets in, leashed or unleashed.
Well, I'm also concerned about the people who gather after the games to barbecue and they're drinking in the parking lot and there's nothing else going on in the facilities and we still have the lights on and
Right.
in a time where we're trying to trim our budget, I don't think that that's something that we need to allow, and we need
Right.
to enforce maybe a no loitering type policy when it comes to that.
Well, this is what, I also have this on here too, the next slide. I'm glad you brought that because that's a very important issue too. On the potential changes, next slide. Thank you. The city park's hours of operation should remain the same. I just wanted to show this. If you look on the bottom, basketball, tennis, volleyball, skating, all these lights, they close at 11 unless otherwise permitted by the department director. There's situations where you have night games, event, and late evening maintenance, especially in the summer. We like to do it because of the weather. In those situations in particular, security guard, once the games are done and we're not doing maintenance or we don't have any events, it needs to be shut down when the park closes. Now, people are drinking in the park, that's where the security guard needs to come in. That's something that I can look into, and I have looked into it. If the security guard's not enforcing that, then we need to do something about that. But you pointed it out before, and it hasn't been taken lightly. Now, whether they're enforcing it or not, that's the only issue that I can deal with. They should contact PD if after they warn them, and they don't, then the police department can come in, because that's the public, so they have laws on that one. The lights, I can't disagree with that. That's got to be turned off at 11 o'clock at night. Now, if there's no games going on, obviously they could be turned off. I didn't go over the hike and bike trail. Did I answer your question on that? Okay. Hike and bike trail is a historic battlefield trail in Paseo de la Resaca. Shall be open to the general public between the hours of 5 and 10. The reason why I put potential change is because we've been looking into this. People don't run and wait for the park to open at 8 in the morning. They like to run in the morning before 8 o'clock, so specific areas can be, those are rules. I don't have to go through an ordinance. So if you have any idea, any suggestions for me as far as parks rules go ahead and get those to me and I can adjust that. That's something we can look into because that's benefiting the community. If we go one last slide here. I put this up there. This wasn't a park when I got there. It was in the neighborhood. I had to take a picture. I'm a basketball guy, and it's all it said. We've come a long way, but that right there we replaced with the regular basketball rim. We gave it to the kids in that neighborhood because there was no park there. I had to do it. I was trying to make somebody laugh. Actually, I was the only one that laughed at the time, but I wanted to present this today. Obviously, I was asked to, but it's very important that people know the rules, number one. And number two, why does it hurt to look at them? You know, with time, like with the pets, no problem, we're looking at that. I'm done with my presentation. I can field some questions.
Chris, I just want to tell you, I appreciate all the work that you and your staff have done over the past couple of years, and most recently, since you've taken the helm as Director of Parks. I think it's just, you know, it speaks volumes of some of the transition that has taken place with leadership, but also some of the things that have happened at our parks that are going real well. We appreciate the emails on the Linear Park, covering up the graffiti and making sure that works. We looked at the solar lights along the Linear Park Trail. You know, it takes a lot. You know, you don't have such a huge budget, yet, you know, you do so much with so little, and so we appreciate that. In my district, I know I have about 8 parks, and I'm very fortunate to have that. And to maintain each of those 8 parks takes quite a bit. So I appreciate everything the staff does and going out real early in the mornings to go to work and do their good work, because it is difficult. And when budget times are very difficult, you know, parks are always, you know, an area that, you know, that kind of gets hurt a little bit. If you look at what the state does, the state really hasn't, you know, hasn't really appropriated any funds, you know, for state parks or at that state level. And so locally, cities, are obviously having to fund that internally themselves and work through all the headaches that one has with maintaining a park. But I appreciate what you guys do. And I'm hopeful that, through the continuation of 4B, that we'll be able to spread those monies around parks even more and really be able to do some things with our parks that you're already going to do with the funds that have been allocated. But in the future, that those monies continue to grow so we can take care of our existing parks and make sure we have the amenities that the public and the public and our youth need and want. So again, thanks, Chris, for all your hard work. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate that. I do want to make a note. When it comes time with the budget and stuff, that we have to dig harder in parks. We have to go out there and get volunteers. And, like keep telling people, we have 175,000 people in the city, I believe, and plenty of people out there to help in the parks. And that's one thing that we're pushing for. Like with this event that we're doing this weekend, the Kidfish deal, we have a lot of volunteers. And that takes a lot of people to run. And if it wasn't for volunteers, we couldn't do it. So with that in mind, instead of looking at the budget and saying we're hurting, we don't have people, we don't have equipment, we just need to do a better job in the Parks Department and try to get volunteers, community organizations, churches have been helping us out tremendously in the about last year. So I appreciate that. There's just one more thing. We have some signs that are going to be going to the parks. They're actually colored, they're in purple and black, but our city cares. A lot of people, it's a big city and we do care. Our employees do, Public Works, all the other departments. If you see something, say something. I tell my employees, don't complain about it. Complaining about it is one thing. Calling us to do a complaint is another thing. We appreciate that. We don't take it badly. But report vandalism and maintenance issues to the Parks Department. The number's there. If you cannot reach that number, call it again. If you cannot reach it a second time, call the city manager's office, and I'm sure they will let me know very quickly somebody's not answering the phone. So thank you for your time. Again, you can contact me with any questions regarding my presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, that ends the workshop. Would you all like a 5-minute break or 5-minute break? Okay. Let's have a 5-minute break, then we'll get started on the. Okay. Good start.
Why is there a 5-minute break?
We didn't have time to meet. Yeah, it was there, so she comes in.
And that's what we take. We advertise when the sale is not taking place, it's taking place 10 to 12 years. I'll explain that. But before they say something. The one who decided to pay for the following
Just give it to him. Captain Bob. I called you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated. Oh, I'm sorry. Pastor Kenneth Parks will do the invocation. Welcome to our chambers.
Thank you, sir. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time tonight, God. And Lord, as I was reading today, it says to pray and seek the peace of the city in which we dwell and to pray to the Lord for it, for in its peace we shall have peace. And God, we just ask you to bless the city of Brownsville. God, we ask you to bless our mayor, Pat Amata. We ask you to bless our city council. God, we ask your blessing over our city services, our police and our fire department, our school districts, God. And Lord, we just lift up also tonight, God, heavy hearts, God, across the border. And on this side of the border, God, we lift up fears, anxieties, and worries. God, even today, as I was calling a customer in Reynosa, she was saying she's concerned about 3 feet of water coming in her house. And God, we just want to lift up those concerns to you tonight. God, we thank you for your word that says when the enemy comes in like a flood, that you'll raise up a standard. God, we thank you for protection over the people here, Lord, on both sides of the border, Lord. And God, we pray for protection, Lord, from wickedness, Lord, over our city and across the border, Lord. Raise up a standard against the cartels and those who desire to bring evil and hurt to your people, God. We just thank you, Lord. We thank you for your protection over our city. We thank you, Lord, for your prosperity and your blessing upon our economic development, God, and the plans that are going to be laid here tonight, God, in our city. God, we thank you for your word that says a man by his mind will plan his way, but the Lord will direct his path. So, God, I thank you for your direction. I thank you for your wisdom. I thank you, Lord, over these leaders tonight for clarity of mind and clarity of spirit in your direction. And I pray all these things in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. It gives me great pleasure to report to you on behalf of the city of the humanitarian relief drive that's been undertaken in conjunction with the city commission, the city employees, directors, the churches, and volunteers. Volunteers like the person who led us in the invocation here, Kenneth Parks, Pastor Bob Clark, Brad Burke, and others who have given their time to collect food, canned goods, non-perishable goods, to send to our neighbors to the south who have been severely impacted by the storm and the hurricane. We encourage people to continue to give generously. I think we've sent at least 10 to 12 trailers. I can't thank HEB enough. There were some communities that needed water and other supplies, and it's comforting to know that you can pick up the phone and ask them for their help, and like good corporate citizens, they responded immediately. No red tape. I mean, that was awesome. I called Albertsons, and it was a lot of red tape, but I still haven't gotten there. So I mean, that's the difference between a community-based, more or less, corporation, one's so far away. They both are very good community members. But particularly, I want to thank HEB for being so quick to respond and meet the needs of the less fortunate by sending trailer loads of goods where it was needed there. We're going to continue with a food drive, and I asked the citizens to join the commission, myself, and the employees here to promote it. There's drop-off locations at Four Corners in front of the old Albertsons. You'll see a trailer there that will be receiving goods. It's manned by volunteers. Another one at Bingo Gardens on Price Road by the expressway. Another one at Good Shepherd Community Church on Morrison Road behind Academy. And First Baptist Church on Boca Chica. The clearinghouse, or the base, is 4402 Austin Road. If you're going east on Highway 48 or Padre Island Highway, turn right on Austin Road, and immediately you'll see some chain link fence there, warehouse, and just go to the back, to the rear, and there's some volunteers receiving the goods there. We're asking other churches to get involved, promoted by communicating to the parishioners to bring in non-perishable goods, diapers, canned food, water, things that people can use when a flood hits. Mosquito repellent, cooking oil, beans, rice, as long as it's non-perishable. We're asking citizens not to donate any clothing, especially used clothing. Don't bring us used clothing because that's strictly prohibited. So I mean, focus on food by getting your church involved, or your civic organization, the Rotary, Lions, and others to collect this food to send to these people down south that need it. We've learned a lot from this. I hope to work on a plan that we can execute in case of emergency like this comes again. We'll be better prepared to respond. I'm going to ask the city manager to send a memo to all the employees, for instance, if they can all bring one can of good. I think, if we put everybody together, one can of good, it will collect to a good amount. The city's willing to pick up any goods. We're talking about at a church. If a church is using a drop-off site and they don't have a way to deliver it to one of the drop-off sites or to the base station at 4402 Austin Road, we'll send somebody to pick up the goods and deliver them to the warehouse so we can process them and ship them out. That is a report. There's a lot of activities, a lot of things going on, but we want to focus right now on the hurricane relief. Laredo also asked for our help. Many of you saw the pictures on TV, and we're sending people from POB to help Laredo. The other part of my report has to do with the delegation from our sister city, Guajula de Reyes, Hidalgo, Mexico. Through the sister city that the city commission approved, we formed, with the help of UTB, a foreign exchange student program where our students from Guajula de los Reyes, Hidalgo have the opportunity to come here and learn English, take a course in English, an intensive course in English, and they're taking it at iTech. They got here this past weekend, and the students are here with their chaperones. Their mayor had difficult trying to get here, so he was not being able to make it. But Gonzalo Camargo represents the delegation, and will be addressing us in a minute. Citizens, students particularly, that want to seize the opportunity through the Sister City program, have the opportunity to go to Huajutla and learn Nahuatl. That's a native tongue of the region there. And it's, from the sounds of it, I don't understand of it, but it sounds very beautiful. We were treated to some of their culture, dances and language at Dr. Roberto Robles' house, who was very generous to host a dinner yesterday for them. So students from here have the opportunity to go to Huajutla de Reyes Hidalgo to learn Spanish and Nahuatl. I believe Gonzalo Camargo wants to say something on behalf of the delegation. While he's coming up here, I want to thank State Bridge Hotel. I want to thank the Best American Value Hotel for helping us accommodate the students and the delegation of Huajutla de Reyes Hidalgo.
Okay. Muchas gracias, señor alcalde, señores comisionados, muchas gracias. Agradezco en primer lugar a Dios por estar aquí y queremos agradecer a nombre de Huajutla de Reyes esta oportunidad, estas puertas que la ciudad de Brownsville ha abierto para estos 10 jóvenes de Huajutla de Reyes. Huajutla de Reyes es en México el tercer municipio con mayor población indígena. El 70% de su población es bilingüe, su lengua materna es el náhuatl, y es por eso que nosotros también queremos corresponder a estos gestos de hermandad, de fraternidad, e invitar a las personas de esta ciudad de Brownsville que quieran conocer, aprender algo del idioma náhuatl. El día de ayer, como comentó el alcalde, en la casa del doctor Robles se presentó una ceremonia huasteca en la cual la danza sagrada de los náhuatl se llama el Xochipitzáhuatl. En esa danza van tejiendo un bastón. Ese bastón se llama el bastón de mando y significa la hermandad, significa la fraternidad, la gratitud, significa también nuestra corresponsabilidad, nuestra obligación de corresponder a todas las atenciones que ustedes han tenido con nosotros, los comisionados que tuvieron a bien aprobar el hermanamiento entre nuestras ciudades. Al señor alcalde, a nombre de Huajutla de Reyes, les agradecemos y le voy a pedir a los alumnos que hagan favor de entregarle al alcalde, como signo de hermanamiento, como signo de fraternidad, el don de mando de los huastecos, el don de mando de la comunidad náhuatl.
Would the commission join me so they can take a picture?
It's 70% speak that language anywhere. That's what he said.
This was accomplished through a ritual dance. You see the parade? The boys and girls dance around this little pole with this thing here, and they just parade it. It's beautiful to see. I want to thank them for behalf of the city. So, we wish them well, and we know they're going to learn to enjoy back to Fortuna and promote Brownsville for us and let them know what great people we have here in Brownsville. They're always welcome here. En su casa. Bienvenidos y espero que pasen bien. Thank you very much. This is a symbol of power. Power. You can use this for something. Turn power. Thank you very much. To conclude, the city has been spraying for mosquitoes. I think we got it under control. But if anybody has an area that needs some extra attention, please call the health department at 542-3437, 542-3437, and let them know that you're having, continue to have a mosquito problem. I think the health department did an excellent job in addressing this problem immediately after the hurricane. And I think we brought it under control because the mosquitoes were kind of vicious. And that concludes my report. The mayor's activity report. Commissioner Charlie Atkinson with his District 2 update.
For those of y'all have been calling about Highway 48, the construction that's going on there, going out to the island. I know it's been going on for a while. TxDOT's been working real hard to try to get that done with all the rain and the tropical depression and all the water, and the bridge that they're building over, that drainage area, that's been a major concern and a problem. But I keep talking to TxDOT, and they're working as hard as they can to finish that project on Highway 48. And I know patience is running out, but I just urge a lot of people in that area just to go to the beach, hang out, but it will get done. It will get done, and it's going to take a little while, but they're working as hard as they can. I also want to thank the Brownsville PD chief. Y'all threw a major event Saturday and Sunday at the Boca Chica Beach. I don't know if anybody went out there, but there was thousands and thousands of people there. That over close to 800 people sign in for that fishing tournament. It was amazing just to see how much it's grown out there. Everybody went out there with generators. Everybody went out there to spend the night. There were so many people. You know, Border Patrol was going crazy, but hey, we were out there and everybody was having fun. And I saw thousands of kids out there. It was just a sight to see, because I remember when I grew up, that's where we used to go before we even went to the South Padre Island. And I urge families to go out there, you know, spend some time out there. It's a lovely beach. And the Brownsville PD, they did amazing. They sold shirts. There's corporate sponsors that had a fireworks display out there. It was amazing, Chief. I hadn't been there in 3 years, but I went this last, and it was unbelievable, unbelievable the amount of people there. And thank you to the sheriff's department for being out there. They had cruisers going on there, so safety the safety concerns were met with a lot of law enforcement out there. So it was just, I can't say enough about what occurred this past weekend there. As far as the Brownsville Sports Park activities, we've been going through something. Everybody knows what's going on with the Brownsville Sports Park. We're at a pivotal stage at the sports park where we have a chance to really generate some revenue there. With the building of bleachers and the building of dressing rooms, many people think that it's just because of this UIL event that suddenly showed up and wants to be played at the sports park. It's the UIL State Soccer Championship tournament. Thousands of people are going to be coming in for that event. So we were approached, and it wasn't the city that was approached, it was BCIC, which is a board that I serve on, along with Commissioner Tarani, where we're approached and we handle quality of life projects. And the Brownsville Sports Park is an ongoing project. You know, you have a few people out there that call it a money pit. It's not a money pit. You go out there, there's thousands of kids out there, thousands, playing every different sport out there that you can think of. I mean, for people to say that it's a waste of money, those are the people that don't go out there and they just talk on their Facebook and they talk on their little computers thinking that, but those are people that are never gonna go out there and see what's amazing out there about this park. You know what I mean? People need to go out there, and I thank all the hundreds of people that have contacted me and say, hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? Well, you know what? Politics is politics, and that's the way it is, but we still have a chance to fix this. You know, the city staff is working hard to get this right. Through our board, we can go out and get a loan, which ain't gonna hurt anybody out in the community. Citizens of Brownsville don't have to eat this tax or this burden on the sports park through property taxes or anything like that. It's just politics that's stopping this from happening. But I urge the citizens of Brownsville to just be patient, because we will get it done somehow, some way. And I appreciate all the calls, all the concerns about what's going on at the sports park, because this is our future. We want to put a convention center there eventually. We need to build the roads around it. BCI, we're not asking for money to build roads inside. We're building roads on the side that's going to connect Brownsville together, from North Brownsville to West Brownsville. It's amazing how the amount of people who've called me to say, hey, what's going on? We need to get this done. And that's why I was there to be on that board. I was put on that board. When I got on that board, it was a project in motion. And anybody who steps into a position like that needs to step up and get things done. We're held accountable. And you as citizens demand that get rid of the bureaucracy of having things stagnate for so long. The Brownsville Sports Park is an amazing thing that you gotta enjoy. And there's a few that are gonna come up here later and bash it, but they're the people that have special interests and that they want money to be used other places that don't even understand that it can't be used for. But I just want people out there to be patient with what we're doing. And I urge our commissioners to take a look at what we're gonna bring up in the next meeting, hopefully, that we won't have to go out for CO bonds on where the taxpayers have to pay back this money. BCIC will pay back this money, and it's gonna benefit not just this UIL tournament. If we don't get it done by the UIL tournament, so what? At least we're trying. I mean, the purpose was to try to get it done by there, but as long as we stagnate on the commission, it hinders what we could have there next year. We have other soccer tournaments going out there. We have other events going out there. We have pro wrestling events that want to be out there. As far as y'all know that the Bravos are in town, and we promised them a long time ago, a year ago, that we're going to be getting these facilities in place. We have a $1 million soccer field, $1 million soccer field with no seating. What bright-eyed guy thought of that 4 or 5 years ago, to put $1 million soccer field there, field turf, with no seating? That was like one of the blunders of a lifetime. And all we're trying to do is try to correct that, because the people of Brownsville should be able to go to concerts out there, should be able to go see events out there, and our kids want that. All the soccer community is counting on what we're going to do next meeting if we can get it done. And it's nothing off the city commission, but other than just to acknowledge what our board can do. We're a healthy board. We went from an A- rating to an A+ rating. So that means we're healthy. We're not in jeopardy. We're not hurting on our board. Though some people like to throw the perception out there that we are because of the way the economy is. It's just wrong to play politics. And there might be some personal feelings here, but you know what? We got to set them aside and do what's right for the community of Brownsville, the children of Brownsville. And that's why I'm on this board. That's why I'm a city commissioner. I could care less about a lot of other things that goes on in this commission, but I worry about what we leave behind for our children, what we leave behind for Brownsville in the next 10 years. You know, and that's my motivation for being a city commissioner and sitting on this board. After this year, I won't sit on that board. Maybe one of these other commissioners will be on that board, and they'll take that money and use it for other things. If they want museums, they can go build another museum if they want. I don't care. But while we're there, we have a job to do there. It's a sports park that's not finished. We didn't start it, but we got to finish it. And the citizens deserve for that park. It's a Class A park. It's the best in South Texas. Nobody can come close to what we're building out there. McAllen can never do what we're doing out there. because they're landlocked, and they would have to separate all their events. We have the right land, the right place for this sports park that's going to attract a lot. If the UIL, if BISD loses this tournament, they'll take it to Weslaco. Do we want this? Do we want all these thousands of people coming in to go to Weslaco, or do we want them to come to Brownsville? And this is just a start. There's so many things we can do out there with that sports park, but we knew a year and a half ago that we lacked seating, and we lacked restrooms, and we lacked dressing rooms. But we're not going to get it done if the politics keep getting in the way. People need to realize that it's not about each and every one of us. It's about our community. And I'm very passionate about that. And some people might throw out that's all I care about is the sports park. So what? There's a lot of things I care about. But if they want to make that an issue, well, let it be. If I'm not reelected, I'm not reelected. I don't care. I'm here and gone for however long it is. I have no personal agendas. I don't put myself out there for myself. I do it for the benefit of Brownsville, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Melissa Zamora.
Yes, with the City Parks Department and the City of Brownsville and another organization called Las Huellas, we're putting together an event that takes place on July 24th, which is this Saturday. It's an absolutely free event, thanks to the many sponsors we have in kind and monetary sponsors. The first 200 kids who register the day of the event will receive a free fishing rod in real combo. All the participants will have a fishing rod regardless. We will have some loaner rods on hand for those who register after the 200 cap. Every child will receive a goodie bag. We'll have plenty of activities, health screenings, fingerprinting for the kids. United Way will be there, and Commissioner Longoria will read the book of the month. And we'll have lots of other children's activities where they'll have plenty of fun, and it's all free, and it's for ages 16 and under. Registration begins at 7:30. Fishing begins at 9 o'clock and runs to about noon, and we'll have awards and door prizes and trophies for the 3 age categories. So I hope that you have an opportunity to take your kids out there and have a good time. And another event that will take place at the Brownsville Event Center is the health fair, and I'm sure that there's some other commissioners here that are very involved with that, and it's a free event as well from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on August 1st. And I don't recall if I said where the Kids Fish event was, but it's at the Brownsville Event Center as well.
I encourage everybody to go to both the Kids Fish and the Health Fair held on the 23rd of July, right?
Kid Fish is the 24th.
24th of July. And August 1st, the Health Fair at the Event Center. I think we can all benefit from that. Good health. Okay, item 3.
Item 3, consent agenda items A through B.
These are consent agenda items.
So moved to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2010-1525 to authorize the issuance, sale, and delivery of approximately $11,310,000 in aggregate principal amount of City of Brownsville, Texas combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation series 2010A, securing the payment thereof by authorizing the levy of an annual ad valorem tax, and pledging certain surplus revenues of the city's municipal landfill system, and approving and authorizing the execution of a paying agent registrar agreement, a purchase contract, an official statement, and all other instruments and procedures related thereto.
Well, Mayor, members of the City Commission, we would request that this item be tabled, and the reasons why we are requesting that this item be tabled is because if you recall, on June 15th, we had the plan of finance that indicated that was revised at that time. What was dropped at that meeting was not considered was the $2.2 million gymnasium, as well as the streets. Then we were required by law to, at that time after that meeting, to make a publication in the newspaper 30 days before the sale of the certificates of obligation. And those notices were published in the Brownsville Herald on the 18th and 25th of June. That would indicate that tonight, July 20th, the sale of those COs were to be held. There was a change on July 6. What happened in July 6, another plan of finance was revised, which dropped the sports park, and he added the streets, which of $5,250,000. Again, we were required to publish the notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation, and those were published on July 9th and July 16th. This must be published 30 days before the sale. We are scheduled to have the sale on August the 10th of this year. So this item, because of the publications that were made previously, we are requesting that this be tabled and then the sale to take place on August the 10th.
So move to table.
Second.
We have a motion to table by Commissioner LaGuardia, second by Commissioner Simon. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.
Item 5, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2010-1526, amending Chapter 46, Article 3, Noise, by amending Section 46-76, Definitions, Section 46-77, Unreasonable Noise Prohibited, Section 46-78, Enumeration of excessive sound levels, and abolishing and reserving existing Sections 46-79 and 46-80, thus repealing ordinance number 99-1347.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. The legal department took a look at the noise ordinance as it currently stands, and especially in consideration that Brownsville is, a growing city, it's a border city, and becoming increasingly commercial. We made some adjustments to it to hopefully better fit our situation now. We made some sections a little more succinct. Some of the enumerations of prohibited noises was pretty verbose and a little old-fashioned. So we kind of narrowed that down and made it a little less specific and more general, but all-encompassing. Also, we added some specific information to aid in the regulation of excessive noise. One of those being the adding of maximum decibel levels during the day, permitted during the day and during the night in certain areas, in zoned areas. They vary slightly with residential, commercial, and industrial, but these levels are based on what El Paso and San Antonio currently have. The second major change is that there's roughly a two-step process that can be undertaken in order to establish whether or not there is a violation of the zoning ordinance on property. First step being you measure the decibel level on the property itself from the sound source. If it falls within the ordinance, it's fine, there's no violation. If it doesn't, then you go to the complaining property, measure it from there. If it falls within the ordinance, fine. If it's greater than the decibel level permitted, it's in violation. So, in a nutshell, that's what we changed. Again, given Brownsville's position as a increasingly commercial city, we just thought a few changes were warranted, and hopefully a few more specifics to help out with the regulation.
Okay, any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Who would be enforcing the actual DBs?
Oh, it would be usually I think noise complaints are routed to the police department, and they indicated that they're going to be attaining decibel meters for this ordinance.
Chief, are you here? I'm just going to throw it out there if you want. On the DB reading, my recommendation would simply just be maybe a sergeant or somebody that would be in charge on the shift. We do have several, you and I have talked about some of the complaints around the city, and if you would like, I think I have mentioned to you before, you don't need to go out for training. I can come do the training for you. I own a DB measure machine, and I can do the training for you if you want. If we can schedule it right now during the summer, I can do the ACMD training for you on the DB reader machine also.
Commissioner, once this ordinance, if it is approved or passed and approved, then we'll establish some internal rules or guidelines as to how to address, how to go about to ensure that, when whatever officers sent out there, that not only himself or herself, but a supervisor be present to ensure that the ordinance is being followed as by law, as stated in the ordinance. And definitely, training will be something that we would have to do anyways. And I thank you for the offer, and we'll take you up on that.
No problem.
$0, right? Zero
$0.
cost? Okay.
Voluntary.
Okay, you don't have any problem with this one?
Sure.
Don't have any
No,
problems?
sir, I think the current ordinance is very vague. It doesn't, it's very subjective from officer to officer, so definitely something that provides parameters for us to work with is better than nothing at all.
Is Louis Ferrari here? Louis Ferrari? He's the one that got me to get this pushing here. He was having a lot of complaints and issues. to where-
He's one of several people out there, or several individuals or businesses that we've had
So
issues
he's had to
with.
repeatedly go back.
Right.
and-
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought he'd be here because he said he would be here. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Mr. Oresti?
I'd like to ask the attorney here, is this for music makers also?
Yeah, it's for any kind of sound amplifiers.
Okay. Machinery, okay. Okay. In the Galaxia area, we do have several complaints that came to me from citizens there that we have two families in that area that really, at 3 o'clock in the morning, like to wake up everybody. And the ordinance that we have right now, a lot of people do complain. But you're right about the officers have to hear the noise sometimes. And some people don't have, how you call it, they disregard the other's space. And that's what I'm talking about, the space. And last night I had some problems where I worked. Some guy came in there and all he had was bass and blasting away. I asked him to put it down. He challenged me. I said, you need to put it down. There's a residential area behind me. I get the complaints to me. We need to have, not only for the music machines, but there's a group of motorcycles that add pipes to their mufflers. And on Saturday, I get about 14 motorcycle guys pass right in front of the Galaxia car wash. And you can wake up even the dead. I am sorry to say that, but that does happen there. And we do need, you're saying, what is the citation or the ticket that's going to be issued to these individuals? How much is it going to be? Because I never heard what is the price for making the noise violations. How much is going to be the ticket? $200, $400? What is going to be the cost? Is it going to be a slap on the wrist, $10, and they do it again? That's what I'd like to know. Thank you.
Just as far as this, oh, I'm sorry. Just as far as his last question, I mean, any violation of the code is a misdemeanor, so the actual cost of the ticket, I don't know. But
I've seen them start at 150
Yeah.
on that.
Mr. Reese?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm familiar on the culture on both sides of the river. And we see this a lot in Mexico. You see? You have this guy with his big bocinas there, asando carne, tomando vino. He doesn't care about his neighbor, you know? And I don't mind it if we would be listening to classical music. Pero ese que el vato que se fue para allá, hey, what's this, you know? I mean, you know, it gets, you know, you can only tolerate it for such time, and then, you know, it's so loud. I have had good results because when I call the Brownsville Police Department, they will be there immediately, you know, right away in a reasonable time, right? And they will address the people. Now, what are the regulations? For example, it's Sunday morning, and apparently they can have the music on as loud as they want to till 10 o'clock at night. I have to be listening to this music all day long. You know, it's not right. We need to establish a decibel that is reasonable for everybody. You know, I'm not against it. I listen to the music. I have no other choice. But, you know, the loudness has it gets out of hand. You know, it puts you in a bad mood. It makes you mad with the guy next door. And then if they're drinking or whatever, and then the late hours at night, you know, we have to look into this matter really.
So you support the ordinance?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think it has to be reviewed, and we have to be a little bit more stricter and inform the public of what's going on. Because, you know, I live close to Cameron Park. I live in La Villita Norteña.
Well, we're going to take action on this. You support the ordinance, you support the ordinance. Thank you. Who to close?
Second.
We have a motion.
We
No,
have
yeah,
one more
It's a
person.
public hearing. There's somebody else here. Please. Are you here for or against the ordinance?
For. Mayor and distinguished commissioners, the only thing that I have to say is that certain people are some people are very sensitive to noise. I happen to be very sensitive. I get migraine headaches that just start just pulsating. I can't hear a lot of noise. I'll get the nausea in the stomach, and I'll feel, and it goes on in my neighborhood every Saturday and Sunday. I mean, really, really nice parties, and it's really it affects me physically, and I think that the ordinance should be regulated and enforced. And also, if I'm always calling the police come and help me, and nothing ever gets done, these people don't get cited or done something about, this problem will continue, and I will continue to suffer as a part of it. So I think that it needs to be looked into, and I would appreciate if you did something about it, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to close public
So
hearing?
Second.
Motion to close by Commissioner Atkins, second by Commissioner Triani. All in favor?
Aye. So moved.
All opposed, motion carries. This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Zamora, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any further discussion?
I have just one more comment to add. On this, people need to understand, of course, me coming from this background, that when there's outdoor parties at homes, I mean, I've seen situations where neighbors complain about a stereo at the house, you know, and it's within reason, it's within somewhere, but there's always the problems between the neighbors, and somebody will call and complain, and, you know, the police officers will get there and say, you know, I understand it's just a home stereo, and it might be light, but this will give something for the officer to be able to measure, and this will be able to, you know, people have common knowledge that once you call in twice to dispatch, more than likely the officer that comes to your home will tell you to whatever kind of sound mechanism it is for it to be shut down. So at least this will give the officer, the supervisor, some sort of a, you know, a measurement to be able to tell the people, you know, they have until this hour to continue, or they'll tell the people at the event or whatever's going on at the house, whether it be a barbecue, whether it be a house party, you know, they have until 10 p.m. to be at this level. If the party continues up to 12 a.m., they have this up to this level. You know, when you hear music and you have what they call the 18-inch speaker, which is a sub, that's omnidirectional. So you're going to get complaints because it heads in all different directions. And that's exactly, it's not that the people are hearing the music, it's that omnidirectional signal that gets sent out by that speaker that people hear in their homes. So hopefully this will be able to address it and continue. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 6, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-012 to rezone from dwelling Z to general retail G, lots 7 through 9, block 105 of Olmito Original Town Site located near Expressway 7783 and Coma Street.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, if you could put the map, please. In this particular case, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this recommendation to you. The area here is shaded in red, as you can see on the map. And here they want to develop a grocery store. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this application.
Okay, is there any questions? This is public hearing. Anybody for or against this? Okay, can I have a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Motion closed by Commissioner Triani, second by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Atkinson, second by Commissioner Triani. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7, public hearing and action on first reading of protested ordinance number 235-2010-013 to rezone from general retail G to dwelling A for 10 acres out of surveyed number 34, share 19, Espiritu Santo Grant located near Hudson Boulevard and FM 802.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this is a protested case. This case before the Planning and Zoning Commission had 2 votes for and 2 votes against. It did not pass for that reason. The property is shaded here in red. As you can see in the map, this is 802 Hudson Boulevard right here. As you can see, the area is shaded commercial, and they want to downzone to dwelling A to have a single-family residential development here. Do you have another map?
You say they want a down zone?
There is a downzoning from commercial to residential, because what they're proposing is a single-family subdivision.
Bill, Ben, is this right behind Rag Daddy's?
Yes, sir. I was going to give you an aerial, but the Rag Daddy's is right here, and the new
Vertigo?
Vertigo is right here, possibly right here, sir. And I do have, maybe we can put this item up. And I have a little aerial.
What is the recommendation of staff?
Well, let me go over this. This is the Resaca's here built by the Hudson Development. Here's all the residential, apartment living on the south side of 802. You have Rag Daddy's, the Vertigo. There's a property shaded here for single-family subdivision being proposed.
How will
The
that
Planning and
impact-
Zoning Commission had a split vote, Commissioner.
How will that
Mayor.
impact the property across Hudson?
You're talking about this property here, this property here?
Yeah, all that.
Well, that's zone commercial right now.
So all that, from there to across the street,
It's currently, you see, he had this buffer built here, which is, it's an excellent plan from a planning perspective.
so
It's
does
excellent.
Osaka serve as a buffer?
It's a mitigation buffer. He also wanted to have a downtown Riverwalk development here. Of course, the economy has taken care of that. People moving toward the expressway to a more visible location, so that has not occurred. So one thing that the developer sold it for, sold it to somebody that wants residential.
Commissioner Ward has a question.
Is the builder here?
The developer?
The developer, I'm sorry, yes.
Well, represented by Mr. Rose.
Question. Be it that you've got commercial property in front of you, and right across the street, it's proposed commercial. Would you, or is it in your plans, I was looking at your site plan right now, does it include a buffer between Vertigo and Rag Daddy's, obviously being commercial nightclub slash pool hall, where your residents won't be, well, you know, like we have people from across the Resaca on this side that complain about the thump on Vertigo, and it disturbs their homes. You're going to be obviously having the same complaints from the people that build their homes there. Does your site plan include a buffer? Mr. Hudson put in those Resacas that would serve as buffers from the commercial to the residential. Does your site plan include any kind of a buffer so that the commercial noise from those businesses protects the residents that will be living in your subdivision?
My name is Jim Rose. I'm with the firm of Mejia and Rose, Inc., Engineering and Surveying Company. We prepared the zoning application for our client, Sagar Builders. Sagar Builders has been successfully building and selling homes in Portofino subdivision, which is just north of the Resaca on the west side of Hudson Boulevard. Sagar Builders has bought this 10-acre tract, and they want to do a similar subdivision to Portofino. There will be others here who will address the buffering issues and the type of fence they're going to put there and so forth. This subdivision is the first single-family residential subdivision we've worked on here in Brownsville, probably in 3 or 4 years. Mr. Zavala of Sagar Builders has a market for his lots. He looked forward to developing this property. We were unaware that you could no longer do single-family dwelling in commercial zoning, so Planning Department advised us we needed to do this down zoning. Again, I was fairly unprepared when I came to the meeting on July 8 because I thought we were in a slam dunk situation. There was no opposition, and to my knowledge has been no opposition from any of the neighbors or any property owners to this down zoning.
Is it the same type of zoning from the rest of the house over there, or you said it's a down zone, so they can even build less?
It's
lesser-
fourth commercial right now. The zoning across the socket to the left, yes,
All that's right.
that's all dwelling, that's
That's
correct.
the same type of dwelling they're gonna build there.
And as far as what's going to happen on the west side of the road, Mr. Hudson is here to address that also in a minute.
Ben, let me ask you this. If it wasn't down zone, what else could they do?
I think Mr. Hudson was talking about baling hay off and maybe putting it back in agricultural use.
Right. Yeah, I know not much is taking place out there, but Ben, in terms of if it wasn't single-family housing, what else could be built there
Well,
with its current zone?
It's state commercial.
Any of the commercial uses.
Okay, I'm sorry, I guess if it were down zone, besides single-family homes, what else could they do?
Well,
You said that they could build apartments, correct?
No,
No?
no.
That wouldn't be allowed?
They would need to rezone for apartment. Apartment has a apartment classification.
Under its current classification, would they be able to do apartments?
No, they could not.
They could not.
They have to come to the same process and ask for an application for rezoning for apartments. They can only do commercial activity at this point.
I guess, Ben, I guess my concern is this, that you have a developer who has purchased property, and considering there hasn't been anything happening in that, in that area, or I should say in that tract of land and adjacent to it, the developer wants to build housing and is ready to make and pump in quite a bit of money to do so, get a lot of people working, get a lot of things going. Why wouldn't we allow it? Now, and I understand, considering vertical rag daddies, so I understand that. But if you look at other parts of the town, down the street, Karma, the back of Karma, what do you have? Dwelling. Same issue. When we had Valentinos, in back of Valentinos, dwelling, housing. So this is the other way around, but why can't we allow it? Or why, if they're willing to make that investment and again, get things moving, the homeowner, the individual who's gonna go and buy that piece of property, well, it doesn't take, they'll know, okay, there's a club here and there's another, small bar. What would be the issue?
Yes, sir. Good questions.
Ben, I'm sorry. That was just leading back to my comment. I don't have a problem with the subdivision getting built there, as long as they can provide a buffer. So I'm just trying to, looking at the future,
Exactly.
looking at what's come to us before. If this subdivision can offer laureles or the oleanders or whatever it is, to offer that kind of a buffer required so that the resident will know. Knowingly they're buying, that they're going to be next to commercial, but within their site plan doesn't include it. So for them to offer some sort of a buffer so that resident knows, well, hey, when they call and ask the question, either your department or to the city, yes, the subdivision did meet the requirement through the city commission of offering some sort of a buffer when this was being built.
Exactly, Commissioners, and those are all good points. When this discussion
be
with the Plan
recognized?
Zoning Commission, when it came before the Plan Zoning Commission, there were discussions, those discussions occurred, and of course, everybody wants, the best tax value for this property, and yes, Mr. Hudson said that apparently this is an ag value, and we need to.
If I may?
Need to take that out, I'm sorry.
It's my understanding that this was set up originally as a master plan and that it was designed for a specific purpose, and that was to look at the fact that 802 is highly commercial. It is going to fill in at some point, and that you're going to get better tax margins off commercial property for the city if you have that as a commercial piece of property. As someone who voted for and allowed Amazonia to go up right next to his neighborhood, that would be me, it took a while to get the neighborhood situated and Amazonia situated with the music. And you can hear the music very distinctly. And we live at the back of the neighborhood, okay? So Laureles and Bougainvilleas don't cut it, okay? And that's just a fact. And when you're living there, and I don't know what the price point on these houses is going to be, but I don't think you're going to have a real high price point on those houses going into a nightclub and a bar. And so the people are going to be in there, and they're going to complain about already existing uses. I don't think I have much of a complaint because they went in there and they bought the house or they rented the house, and they're stuck there.
That's correct, and those are some of the things, like when Vertigo came before the commission, those are some of the concerns we had. I mean, it was built as a gymnasium.
Hey, Ben, whose district does this fall on?
Commissioner Simon. And those are some of the issues, and tonight, that's why you have a amending of the noise ordinance, because some of those complaints.
This is a public hearing, Mr.
So one thing that, to address the commissioners, going back real briefly, is that one thing that we would like to see is, from staff perspective, is that if this would be changed, we would like also for the developer to look at this, so you would have a more compatible land uses. You wouldn't have a nightclub right back into a residential. You would have a more planned development, such as this plan started to be. It's an excellent plan that you can cross 802 without going on the roadway. You go underneath. So it's excellent from a planning perspective. It's what planners like to see. But we know that things change and the market changes. So how can we amend this? And one thing that, you know, is let's look at the whole picture of all the land areas, so you won't have another uncompatible land use that doesn't blend in with the residential. You would have those noise levels. You would have the odors of restaurants and smoke. And
is city staff recommending it, or they're not recommending it? Or it's just a protested thing?
Well, no,
it's up to us?
and commissioners, it already went to the Plan Zoning Commission. The Plan Zoning Commission, it did not pass because
It was a 2-2 vote.
Okay, Mr. Hudson, this is a public hearing. You want to say something?
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, my name is Bill Hudson. I'm the developer of the 1,000-acre master plan community called Paseo de la Resaca. When I started in 1993, the planning, the tax base there was about $100,000. The Hogan and Razor study of 1987 put the highest and base use for that 1,000 acres as stormwater retainage. We came up with a slightly different plan, and it's been somewhat of a success. About $300 million of tax base to date. The entire area, can I borrow your laser deal? Okay. This entire area was going to be village center. This 12 acres is called Windrush. It was assumed that there would be some sort of retail on the front and then possibly multifamily. We did have some retail uses planned in the back. We had a hotel convention center. We had a little visitor place here. It was laid out to be if you will, another river walk. The model was Dove Street, or the 495 loop out of McAllen off the expressway, so it has been done in the valley before. Unfortunately, after 15 years on the market, this roughly 60 acres has not been accepted by the market. I've been in the corporate offices of most of the retail end users that are in the mall expansion, Las Tiendas and the Morrison Crossing, trying to get them to come to Brownsville, and particularly my project, and a lot of them did come. I was a rainmaker for Brownsville, unfortunately not for my what was going to be the village center. So if you will, I would call this is what the market has done. This is not, and believe me, I wanted it. We've got a great park system with a trail. You asked the question, what could it be used for now? Well, we could put in bars in the rest of it over 20 or 30 years, I suppose, or whatever it takes. Right now you've got a fellow who bought the land, paid good coin for it. He's ready to pay over $100,000 of the impact fees. That's 2,600 and something times 40 lots, in addition to putting in first-rate housing. I would encourage each of you to look at what he's done here in the Portofino subdivision. He's a good builder. What he has done is brought what my marketing in Mexico, direct mail, was a bust, and then rifle shot these publications that go to the rich people in Monterrey and the like. I've been completely unsuccessful. He does have a cadre of well-to-do Mexican nationals who are looking to buy quality housing. His plan is for a gated community. The gate entry is here. There's one little loop that goes around, and a wall, nice wall. And he said he's got 600 acres of eucalyptus that if the customs will allow him to cross, he can plant whatever kind of a buffer you want. But physically, there will be a wall around it. It will be a gated, and I agree with the comment on when there's a pachanga, and I live on a resaca. And even the resaca doesn't. Most of your complaints coming from here is from that. And the difference between this and that, and the difference between this and Vermilion, that's what the P&Z guys kind of got to say, well, wait a minute, we got all kinds of flack for Vermilion. The difference is that the bars are already there. people that want to buy one of these elegant lots, and my guess is what he's building in Portofino is $150,000 to $250,000 home sites or homes. They'd have no right to complain, having bought it after with the bar already there. In the case of where the zoning was changed, this was a health club, and P&Z voted to give it the liquor license. I suppose you guys did too, but that after the fact. So of course these guys are complaining. It's new. These guys are moving in there new. Now, what will likely happen, and again, one of the things P&Z said, well, can't you put in apartments? And I said, sure. As soon as you remove the impact fees and the construction restrictions and change financing in the world. But again, Mr. Zavala, good guy, builds quality stuff. He's ready to put a bunch of money into Brownsville. He's ready to build some quality stuff. I would pray that you guys would override the 2-2 vote. It's basically not override.
Is anybody here against it?
2-2 is a failure. Well, there's 7 of them, only 4 of them showed up, and 2 went with, and 2 went against. And when they say no, when they can't make a decision, it's a de facto no. But it wasn't really a no. So you guys can make the tiebreaker. I would pray that you will for I don't know how many for impact fees for Brownsville, for new housing, for construction jobs, and a little tip of the hat to Mr. Zavala, who's a good guy and has chosen to invest here. For the noble potential of our community. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Mr. Reese, are you for or against?
Sir, is this yours?
Those are mine.
Sir, it's not that simple. Would you please let me have the word? My name is Fernando Ruiz. I live, this is supposed to be a municipal utility district, 1, 2, and 3. The commission at that time with Mayor Gonzalez ceded to Mr. Hudson privilege that you don't have anymore. We are a special district. And we are a special district at a certain point also, Mr. Hudson loses his power and it comes to the Homeowners Association. We need to study this a lot more because it's not that simple. You know, these are special districts and we pay double taxes, sir. We pay taxes to the city and we pay taxes to the municipal utility district.
And the PAD.
See, now, jurisdiction, this is the question. Whose jurisdiction is this? Mr. Hudson has no say there anymore, according to the rules of special districts. You know, he's here fine because he's interested because this is whatever the real estate, whatever it is. But we need to look into this matter and we have to have you advised the people that live in this district of what they're trying to do in the changing of the zoning? They're supposed to.
Yes, sir. We did.
And what is the radius? 200 feet. Well, I think that 200 feet, well, you don't cover anything. There's nobody there in 200 feet. I think that we have to cover by district. Municipal utility district number 1. If it's going to be number 1, we have to inform the people of municipal utility district number 1 of what you're trying to do. Because who has jurisdiction? There's a homeowners association. Now, you know what? We pay taxes there, and we don't even know where our money goes. So I think you should look into this matter, please.
And then you're against.
Mayor, can I just make a comment? You know, again, I still don't understand what the gentleman's problem is because, again,
well,
this is a commercial. No, I understand. You know, this is a commercial property that a developer is looking to get rezoned and get development going.
Well,
so
the public hearing is for the purpose of hearing people out.
Right.
And then we'll make a decision. Mr. Garza, would you please, what you want to address? Please. Then Mr. Hudson. Okay. Mr. Hudson we already heard from Mr. Hudson. I want to hear from Mr. Garza and then we'll hear from Mr. Hudson again.
Thank you, Mayor. Honorable Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Michael Garza. I'm a developer, builder here in Brownsville. And I will be involved with some of the building of the homes. I'm presently building in Costa del Sol. I've built over 15 homes in that subdivision. That subdivision is similar to this one. The value of the homes there are anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000. The Sagar development and Sagar builders is interested in building the same type of home in this area. Now, you say that's pretty bold for the economy now. The scenario here that is presented to us is that we have right now a devastating condition to the neighbors to the south. And because of that, there are a lot of people coming from the south to this town looking for a gated private community. Mr. Sagar has the ability and has friends that can bring those people to his area. He is willing to invest, just to give you an idea of how much this whole subdivision would take once it's done. This is about an $8.5 million investment, turnkey. You know, for him to make this investment, I mean, it's very bold, but he's willing to take the risk. Now, Mr. Hudson said very clearly that he is building across the street in Portofino. Portofino, if we start looking at Portofino, we do have a commercial property. May I borrow your? This is an area that's commercial, am I correct?
Yes.
Portofino is here, am I correct, in this area? This is before Portofino was developed, am I correct, Mr. Hudson?
Across from the soccer, there's a
Okay. Right here, all this right here. Okay?
Okay.
Mhm.
This is Portofino track, and all the rest of this is on Port Commercial Street.
I understand that. Very good. Being said, now that there is a residential area. Okay, this is commercial and this is commercial. Let's say, Ben, tomorrow this area here is now being sold as a commercial property, and the developer comes in there, and let's say we make a plaza, and the plaza is, I don't know, 70,000 square feet with maybe a max capacity to put another club in there, and another bar, or another.
But Mike, why are we going all that? I mean, let's talk about what's relevant today.
Oh, no. This is
Because,
relevant.
I mean, the integrity of that, what I understood Ben to say, the integrity of the commercial tract across the street will be affected by this residential development. Because once you develop this, which it seems like that's the way it's going, okay?
Yes, sir.
Then you're gonna have neighbors right there that may oppose a commercial development of the tract across the street. So I think what Ben is saying, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, if we're gonna do this, and allow this to go through as a residential, then we should consider rezoning the one across the street too, because we're just going against each other.
Right.
I guess what it comes
the point
down
I was
to.
if I may, is that
We'll get to it.
just to make
Hey,
make it very
relax,
clear,
Mayor.
if we don't,
Damn it.
yes, please, I'm trying to take it apart. Where it tears it up. If we go the other route and we allow that, what's the difference between one area and the other? I mean, we still have the residential. There's still going to be a problem with the noise. The clubs are still going to be there. I guess what we have here, here's Portofino's entrance. Now, the entrance that he's trying to do here is a gated community similar to Portofino. He's going to be building a barrier wall all around the subdivision, and I'll show you. And it'd be an 8-foot barrier. It won't be trees and it won't be shrubs.
But I don't think there's I don't think there's any opposition to this from what I'm hearing here.
I said, the question came from Mr. Troyani,
Across the
what
street,
type of
what do you
barrier?
propose for the cross the street? Do you
Right here,
support, do you support rezoning the cross the street also to residential?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The scenario here is, I guess the question in hand, and Mr. Troyani brought this up, is what, no tree, no shrub is going to stop any noise. We have an 8-foot barrier, plus we have the resaca that goes around the area, and that serves at the present time as a buffer. And besides that, this here is the Vertigo. They have a parking lot, and there's approximately 130 yards from their parking lot to where the buffer of 8-foot fence is going to come up. And then the subdivision starts. Okay? So it's not right behind them. Here we have Rack Daddies, and again, there's a parking lot, and there's about maybe 75 yards from their parking lot to where the subdivision starts, and that's with an 8-foot fence. Now, if I may, I have other. I mean, on that one, that is a Club Evolution, and that is right down the street.
Okay, doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist anymore.
See, here's Evolution Nightclub, and what we have around it, I have an aerial view, but all the way around it, you have, you can see that one a little bit better because this is black and white, that's in color.
Doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't, Evolution doesn't exist anymore, but it falls under a grandfather clause that Mr. Hudson has on there.
Exactly.
Where he can have an entertainment district. That's why nightclubs can't continue there, but that, as of right now, that business is no longer there.
Mike, there's no opposition that I hear from here.
Right.
To the development. There's
Right.
not. The question is, I don't think I hear, you heard, there's no opposition, okay?
No. I'm just trying to
The question
establish
is
a point.
the integrity of the land, the development. Mr. Hudson, you are the developer. How do you see this going if we approve this development? How will it impact you personally, or the master plan that you have? Will you see it go single-family residential? You don't oppose that?
I would be absolutely open-minded to considering any downzoning, future downzoning. What Mr. Zavala has said is that if this phase one is a success in this 10 acres, then he wants to go across the street. I think that's a great end use.
Okay, the reason I'm asking this because if we approve this today, of course, then right now, as the way it exists, you got commercial across the street.
Right.
Then it's going to affect any future commercial development where you have neighbors complain. They're going to say, no, we don't want commercial development. And then you're going to come back and say, hey, I want you to don't downzone it, you know?
On Thursday evening, after the P&Z split of 2 and 2, I broadcast an email off to the homeowners associations within the and the Facebook Paseo de la Resaca residents were notified of the issue. 6 property owners associations have contacted me and said they're in full support of this downzoning. One thing that is important for this commission to understand is that when the master plan was generated, 4th Commercial G did provide for dwelling on a up to 12.5 unit per acre allowance. So the plan was a mixed use. There were going to be housing units above office, above retail. That was the idea. And unfortunately, Brownsville's just not ready for it at this point in time. So it was legal. The ordinance was changed, I think, a couple of years ago. So we've got a lot of homeowner association and property owner association support for this. The fact that the ordinance has changed since the master plan was done does not impact what the plan provided for with flexibility. What has happened with the change in the ordinance you guys have done is reduced flexibility, which requires a downzoning. But absolutely open-minded to, if he's a success on Portobello, then Portobello 2, probably with a reserve for some commercial along the 802. The problem we've had with commercial is it's gone to Las Tiendas, Morrison Crossing, and the Expressway. And I'll sum it up like I did with the P&Z guys. A conversation with the director of real estate for Landry's Restaurants. John Ernst is his name. They're headquartered in Dallas. They've got a couple of thousand stores all over the U.S. Joe's Crab Shack, they've got a lot of brands. They've got steakhouses, they've got all kinds of different little niche brands. And he said, Bill, I love your waterfront. I'd love to put a Crab Shack there, but how am I going to justify to my people, I put one in Brownsville and take a risk with your maybe deal, or I can open up another store in Frisco where I've got the expressway. And if I do open up a store in Brownsville, it's going to be on the expressway. And this is pretty much the same story as all these guys have done, unfortunately. It's what the market is. And I would not worry about having more tax-based growth. We will. But we need residential. Rooftops, heads in beds drive the commercial. They really do. Trust me on this.
Well, I think you have the support. I just want to make sure your interests are protected because of the cross the street.
And very much open-minded about downzoning going forward.
We have a gentleman here who wants to talk.
Mayor, can we
Thank you very much.
From somebody who's opposed? If there's nobody opposed to it, can we close the public hearing?
Let him, I don't know if he's for it.
Mr. Zavala will be coming up to speak.
No, he's
Is he
for it.
for it?
Sí.
We're ready to vote.
He's a developer.
You ready to vote?
No, we're for it.
I move to close public hearing.
Second.
We got a motion, a second.
Muy buenas tardes, señor mayor, señores comisionados, gente que nos acompaña aquí en esta reunión.
Lo van a aprobar.
Bueno, en primer lugar lo que quiero es darle las gracias por habernos escuchado. Yo soy de México, mis hijos son ciudadanos americanos, nacidos aquí en Brownsville. Por tal motivo estamos tratando de invertir aquí con ustedes. Nos interesa mucho pues que siga progresando aquí Bronzeville,
Y
¿verdad?
gracias por la confianza y la inversión que está haciendo.
No hago más que darle las gracias, no venía en otro plan, gracias.
Gracias.
Move to close.
We have motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Move to
Close.
approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Atkinson, second by Commissioner Terriani. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. If I can tell, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the effort here, there's nobody is opposing, there's no need to drag it on for an hour. You know? I mean, you know, it's like we'd like to hear ourselves talk. You know? God almighty. Let's go on to the next one. We got other business to take care of.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-014 to rezone from dwelling Z to medium retail G, Lot 3, Block 22 of Cameron Park subdivision, located near Rancho Viejo Avenue and Paredes Line Road.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, this is the property shaded in red, Paredes Line and Rancho Viejo, this Cameron Park right here subdivision. The applicant would like to have a grocery store. The Plan and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this recommendation.
Does anybody oppose this?
Okay, this is the public hearing. Is there anybody for or against this? If not, can I have a motion to close? Let me finish. It's open to public. No, sir. No, sir. You want to say something, come forward to the podium. You will be heard. You're for it or against it, please let us know and then tell us why or why not.
So I just got to telling you that these are municipal utility districts. You have seized your power, you have given it to Hudson. And Hudson, when he sold these lots and we terminated, then the homeowners take possession. You have no jurisdiction, sir. Please study it because I know what I'm telling you. Look, I had complained to Mr. Medina concerning the T-Mobile. The municipal utility district is not to have an industrial building there. I addressed the city secretary and Mr. Medina, and when I went to address them, they said they did not have it completed. Then you have not have it completed, but then they already started to build. You know, something is wrong here. You know, something is wrong here because one comes, thank you, sir, one comes before two. So what I have is suspicion that things are not being done right. And I don't care if they do whatever you want to put there, but do it right. You have to go back and study the concession that you gave Mr. Gonzalez to Mr. Hudson. And then you have to study special districts. Municipal utility districts are special districts. You have no jurisdiction over it. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Almada.
Mr. Reese, with all due respect, and I please hope you listen, you have your opinion. Okay? And
No, sir, that's the law.
Okay, but you're not an attorney, okay?
I'm sure I don't have to be an attorney to be
listen to me,
familiar
please.
with the law, sir.
Listen to me.
It has nothing to do with that.
You're interpreting the law as the way you see fit. We pay this gentleman right here too much money, if you ask me, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate that.
But we have to make him earn it. We have to make him earn it, okay? He's got to earn it. Now, he's got to keep us straight. And if he doesn't tell us it's illegal what we're doing, we're going to proceed according to the guidelines that were given to
Well, ask
proceed.
him if it's legal or not. I want to hear him.
Well, first of all, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to comment that you're actually paying me less than your last city attorney. But second of all, the purpose
That's
of
a
public
separate
comment, where this is a public hearing, and actually, the comment should be for or against the measure that's on the agenda.
That's right. And you are out of order. But to address you, you're not on the issue of the agenda, but with all due respect, really, that's what he's here for as a city attorney. Now, on this issue right here, this particular issue, what we're on right now, this one right here,
Okay, sir.
are you for or against it?
Well, sir, you have no jurisdiction.
Okay. Thank you for, well noted.
Move to close.
Okay. Is there anybody for or against this thing? Okay, can we have, you want to speak for or against this? Mr. Resendez, this is a public hearing.
This is on item 8.
On this item.
On this item.
Please don't tell me I'm out of order, because this is an open meeting. The gentleman came to open meeting, and you're insulting him. You just insulted your attorney also.
Excuse me, Mr. Mr. Mayor, I think the point is that the speakers need to be addressing each item. This is a public hearing, and the time for public comment is afterwards. So if the speakers at public hearing would address each matter that's the subject of the public hearing, we'd all move along
Address the
quickly.
item, Alex. You
Well,
know,
I'm addressing the item. You just insulted this poor attorney. You said he don't make no
I
money.
was just making.
That you
a
paying him
fun
too much money. In other words, he's not worthwhile.
I can handle myself.
Well,
Thank you,
let's
Thank
what
you,
he said.
Reverend Resendez.
Mr. Resendez, are you for or against this?
For or against what?
Decide.
What? Mira, te voy a decir.
This is a public
Okay, mira. It's naturally and it's very easy to figure out. People know that you all are for Mr. Hudson because there's a lot of money involved. But once they build this, the problems are going to be yours and the commissioners because people are going to complain.
That item is
So,
closed.
I mean, I'm not
That
for it
item
or
is
against
closed.
it. Mr. Hudson is a big fellow and I don't want to be against him,
Okay.
just like you guys. You guys are afraid to face him, and I don't want to face him.
So
I don't care. I mean, if you want to put cantinas or if you want to sell whatever you want to do, that's your problem.
Okay, thank you. So you don't have an opinion on this, good. Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Zamora, second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. This is an action item. Can I have a motion to,
I'm sorry, Mayor.
can I have a motion to pass or reject?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Zamora. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 9, please.
Item 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-015 to rezone from general retail G to light commercial G, Lot 42, Section 3 of Linda Vista subdivision located at 3754 Southmost Road.
Mayor and City Commissioners, in this application, the applicant would like to have a car lot. The Plan and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this recommendation to you.
Okay, this is a public hearing.
Move to close.
We have a motion to close by Commissioner Camarillo,
Second.
second by Commissioner Zamora. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
What was the recommendation by the planning department?
To approve this
To
application.
approve?
Yes.
Okay, well, this is a motion to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-016 to rezone from light retail V to medium retail V for 1.5 acres out of Share 22 of Espiritu Santo Grant located at 1600 FM 511 in Brownsville.
And also, Mayor, if they can read number 11, they go together.
Item 11, please.
Item 11, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-016-S to allow a medium industrial specific use in a medium retail district for 1.5 acres out of Share 22 of Espiritu Santo Grant located at 1600 FM 511.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, the first case is to allow a third commercial activity on this proposed site. This is the site of Foremost Paving. There's an asphalt plant located there. And this specific use, which is the second one, number 11, it talks about the site plan for the batch plant. This is a company that, this is where they will mix the concrete. This company will be supplying the concrete for Highway 550, the Newport Road, only. After a year and a half, 2 years, this machine will move away because it's only temporary for building the roadway. So the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this application and approve the site plan.
Okay, this items 10 and 11, this is a public hearing. Anybody here for or against? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearings on item 10 and 11?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Camarillo. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor to close?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. This is an action item, both in time, items 10 and 11.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve items 10 and 11 by Commissioner Zamora, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 12.
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-017-S to allow a duplex dwelling G specific use in a general retail F for Lot 3, Block 125 of Brownsville Original Town Site located at 740 East Monroe Street.
The applicant would like to have this duplex on the site. It is a specific use. The Plan and Zoning Commission will unanimously to approve this application.
Move to close.
This is a public hearing. We have a motion. Nobody's here for or against. We have a motion to close.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Camarillo makes a motion. Commissioner Longoria seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Camarillo. Commissioner Longoria seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.
Item 13, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2010-018-S to allow a medium commercial specific use in a general retail district for 4.28 acres out of Lot 15 and 16, Block 308 of El Jardín subdivision located near FM 511 and Utah Street.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, this is a family-owned trucking company. They would like to locate on this location. You have the site plan on the screen. The Plan and Zoning Commission will unanimously to approve this application to you.
Okay, this is public hearing.
Move to close.
Motion closed by Commissioner Longoria.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Zamora. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
I move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Longoria.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Zamora. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.
Item 14, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2010-235.79 to amend Chapter 348 zoning, Articles 8, specific uses, Section 248-1419 fees of the Code of Ordinances by amending and adding certain fees and dealing with related matters.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, Planning Department approved by the Plan and Zoning Commission unanimously are presenting the processing fees, updated processing fees in subdivisions, zoning, and alcohol-related fees. Under the, let me just in summary go over the highlights. Under major subdivisions, and these are because the cost of advertising, staff time has gone up, and really we do not want to lose any money. Ads in the paper have escalated, so we need to update our fees for that reason. Under major subdivisions, you see in your packet in the chart, and I believe you have the chart on the screen. The major difference is 10 acres and up is $2,000 versus $1,000. In the minor subdivisions, which are 4 lots and lower, change 10 lots and up. 10 acres and up, $1,500. The rest of the fees are pretty compatible, just to cover our processing, our copying, and advertising. Zoning as well, very little changes, just the single-family specific use. You can see there, 10 and up is $1,200 versus the $1,000. On the alcohol processing fees, big change in the bars, conditional use permits, $2,500 today, $4,000, they're going up. And as you recall, when we initiated and approved the entertainment district, there's no cost for those permits in the entertainment district. But outside the entertainment district, that's what the new fee will be. The rest are pretty comparable to basically what our costs are.
Ben, real quick question. I don't know if you're going to get to that eventually, but under miscellaneous, when you have appeals from $100 to $300, is that an appeal to the city commission?
Yes.
Don't you think that $100 to $300 is kind of steep?
Yeah, it is.
If a resident goes to P&Z and feels that the decision didn't go in their way and they want to appeal to the city commission, and currently they're charged $100, and now you're being told whether it's fair or unfair on what the client, on what the proposed person thought, to appeal to the city commission and go from $100 to $300, in my opinion, is very steep.
And Commissioner, basically that's to cover our mail outs, our advertisement again. And if the applicant is, really wants to move forward with the application, so, you know, that's, I think, pretty fair.
I'm pretty sensitive to it, man, because I've seen people that have invested their life savings into projects, and for some reason or another, have gotten, you know, haven't been approved at P&Z, but yet, as record shows, have been approved because they appealed to the city commission. You know, and then to tell them we're gonna add, you know, it used to be 100, now we're gonna add $200 more to you.
Yeah, and,
It's
and,
kind
Well-
of,
and the Planning and Zoning Commission does a little bit
The
more.
question I have been, and I understand Commissioner Longoria is concerned because we want to have access to the process, but what is the cost for doing the posting in the paper? What are those costs? If you can tell us that and give us something to hang our hat
Yes,
on.
For example, the paper itself, I would say a 4x4 ad is over $800.
how much?
$800. And all the postage and the staff time to compile
You gotta
that.
notify people within 200 feet, including all that.
Right.
I have a bigger issue with the 200 feet issue than I do with the dollar amount, because we're looking at these lots, and if you have half-acre lots and you're talking about 200 feet, you didn't even get across the Resaca to give notice to anybody about what was going on there. You know, that's a bigger problem to me than a filing fee. I mean, if you go down and file something at the courthouse, you pay $235 to file a lawsuit. You got to at least pony that up. But
And relate to the Resaca, we basically, in that other case, we notified the homeowners association.
Ben, how's the
Your
200 feet?
concern- Excuse me. Your concern is recouping part
The
of the
cost.
cost. Part of the cost.
Mayor, I have a question. Ben, on the Class W permit fee for arcades, we haven't had an existing fee, correct?
There wasn't a fee.
Now, in the past, I mean, we've heard, we've had many of these arcades open up. So why just 500? And have we had any permits? Have we issued any permits recently in the past 3
No,
months?
we haven't issued in the past,
Not-
in the
not
last
one.
couple, 8 months.
Okay. Well, considering the amount of money that our arcade makes, you know, to me, $500 would be nothing.
You know, we're trying to be, you know, at our best knowledge here and determine these costs and calculations as to what costs, but.
And how do we
those are-
determine the 500 for an arcade?
Okay,
It's led to
and-
believe that they make thousands of dollars each day.
Well, but we didn't do that kind of judgment based on how much money you're gonna generate, basically on what it takes to process that application. Staff time, and some of these, it goes before goes before our department, our city secretary, and vice versa, like alcohol-related activity. She signs off, her processing procedures, our processing procedures. Even Mr. Gonzalez signs off on those. So there's a sundry of different processes that we staff have to go through. But our case, we do not judge it based on the cost or how much money you're going to generate. Basically, what is the staff time, you know, what do we do?
And you felt $500 was
I think,
was fine?
yes.
Commissioner, on the machines, the tax assessor charges per machine as well, and we have a fee per machine
Okay.
that the tax assessor sends us per machine. So this is a little bit different than.
Yeah, here we're just processing the
Gotcha.
application.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Move to close?
Motion to close, second by Commissioner Terani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. This is an action item.
Move to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo, second by Commissioner Terani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Public comment.
Public comments?
We have my friend Fernando Ruiz, Alex Ascendez, Roberto Barrera, Robert Sanchez, Robert Gillespie. City Attorney, would you please let them know what the rules are?
The rules are basically, you can speak on any matter that's not on the agenda, that's a matter of city business, and there's no personal attacks of that nature.
Sir, I know how to read.
Address the
I
chair.
have a master's degree, sir. I know how to read.
Please.
What's the matter with you?
Estamos entre
Mr. Omar, I'm getting tired of
No
this.
te enojes, no te enojes. El que se enoja se pierde.
Sir, I have, this is not the first time I speak in, I've been
Sir.
doing it since
Sir.
2002 or before.
I know you do, but it's important for the public to know. Don't take it personal, okay? Please.
Now, can you tell me when I start, because I need for you to give me my 3 minutes.
You got it.
I'm going.
Start the
My
clock.
name is Fernando Ruiz, Commissioner. Mr. Longoria, good to see you. You're gaining too much weight, sir. Anyway, this is about 4B. 4B was first awarded the concession of a corporation by the Secretary of State around 2005. When they first applied in 2002, their mission statement did not comply with the requirements of the Internal Revenue Service to be a 4B classification. I have addressed the Internal Revenue concerning 4B. It had to change, it had to amend its constitution because it has to say that 4B is for charitable and educational purposes only. Only. Now, I referred you are not supposed to have self-dealings. Like we have this Hindu we made a contract with to make a party there, or a big band, and Mr. Pope, the attorney, and the city of Brownsville got involved. You cannot do that there. Charitable and educational only. You are probably in the situation that you can lose your corporation if the IRS is looking into this matter. Now, we have revenues, but the revenues that they talk about in 4B is not by making parties or renting the land or none of that. No. 4B is what we collect. Taxes that the citizens of Brownsville pay as a flat tax, everybody pays, so that we can support 4B. This is where you get your revenues only. 4A cannot loan to 4B. It's against the law. You probably lose both charters. So I'm just letting you know about these things because like he's not here. I have to listen to him when he's here. His voice makes my eardrums twinkle because I can't understand what he says. But I will tell him, so he can see me on TV, that he says, this is for the children of tomorrow. No, this is for not only for the children of tomorrow, but 2 or 3 generations after that, because they're the ones that are going to have to pay for this. We cannot continue to issue more debt, sir. The people of Brownsville are fed up. We cannot increase the value of property because already Mr. Fructuoso Gomez is in violation of the law by not having depreciated the values of the properties by 50% when the bubble burst. They're stealing from us. And he blames the entities, and he blames everybody except him. And no, Mr. Izaguirre and everybody has to understand that the
Time's up.
supply and demand, economies of scale. Simple as that. No money, the property falls. No sales, the property falls. And so is the appraisal value has to fall. And Mr. Gomez has been increasing them. And that's against the law, what you're doing. The people cannot handle any more taxes, sir.
Mayor,
And we
time
don't
is
want
up.
more debt.
The 3 minutes are up.
My time's up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, and it's good to see you all
Thank
again.
you.
In good health. God bless.
And I want to comment, Mr. Reese, he does a lot of research, and I commend you. Even though we don't agree all the time, I commend you for the research you do, sir. Okay, the next person is Mr. Alex Resendez, the shepherd. Welcome to our chamber.
Good afternoon. With all due respect, Mayor and Commissioners, my name is Reverend Resendez Alex. I've been here too many times. I've got something here that I would like to share with you all from the city charter.
Thank you.
He told us, or else he just told you. The 3 minutes is moving, Peter.
You have 21 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
That took you 5 minutes.
No. Sit down. Don't give me baloney, because I'll start a revolution. Bueno, vamos a ver. The city charter, the last time I was here, Mayor, you all had a gentleman come up here, and he said that I was wrong, that the city charter doesn't matter, that the Attorney General gives you permission for the COs, certificates of obligation. Well, I would like to ask him if the Attorney General is going to pay for the certificates of obligation. Says right here, no such bonds, this is from the city charter from Brownsville, no such bonds shall be issued until the proposition shall have been submitted to the residents. Qualified property tax paying voters of the city at an election held for such purposes, and a majority of the valid votes cast therein shall be in favor of the issuance of the bonds. Such election shall be held in a manner provided in Chapter 1, Title 22, Revised Civil Status of Texas 1925, as amended. And all such bonds shall be submitted to the Attorney General. In other words, before you do that, you must ask the public to vote and then submit it to the Attorney General, because the Attorney General ain't going to pay nada. No va a pagar por nosotros. As amended, and all such bonds shall be submitted to the Attorney General of Texas for his approval. I would like for you guys to really get the Attorney General in black and white, so that what you all said the last time this gentleman was standing here, that he said that you all had the power to do that, get it in black and white from the Attorney General. With the attorney here from the city, get a letter from the Attorney General saying that he's going to pay for the certificates of obligation, as amended. His approval and the Controller of Public Accounts for registration in a manner in which the effect provided by law. Esta es la ley del City Charter. Y así es. Y la vez pasada dijeron que no, que el Attorney General les puede dar permiso a ustedes to overrule our City Charter from the taxpayers.
Time is up.
Get the Attorney General to pay for the city.
Thank you, Mr.
For COs.
I think they're after your job.
Mr. Mayor, if there's making a comment on the Certificates of Obligation Act, actually the Texas legislature gives the City Commission of a Home Rule City the authority to go out for certificates of obligation, notwithstanding any provisions in the charter. So clearly the Texas legislature and state statute does trump city local law. So this, just for a point of clarification.
So throw the city charter at the president.
No more city charter for us. And I will repeat, we have an attorney that we have to rely on for his advice. That's what he gets paid for. And we rely on that advice and we act accordingly. That's what we're supposed to do. So your interpretation, you're not an attorney and you do not work for the city. You have a right to opinion though, and we respect that opinion. But if you want to sit down for a legal discussion based on what you feel your expertise is, we'll match it up against our city attorney here any day. Okay, next item. Oh no, we have more public comments. Mr. Dagoberto Barrera.
Honorable Mayor, honorable commissioners, you already solved the problem that I was going to ask about the charter. If the attorney says he's an attorney, he knows his legal proceedings. Mr. Herrera, hold your temper.
Thank you for making the allowance.
You got to respect the attorney, you got to respect the rest of the people. We're not kids, we're adults. Hopefully, a little more sense.
Well said.
What I'd like to do is ask you now, that question is already solved by the attorney saying that the legislature, if they want to change it, it has to go through the legislature. So the charter is what's the term?
No, it supersedes our
Subservient?
charter.
Superseded by the state.
It supersedes our
All
charter.
right, Superseded. But I'm saying that you're asking for CO, certificates of obligation, of about $11.3 million. And then, on another paper, it out that you're asking also for revenue, certificates of obligation, and a combined tax. Does that mean that the certificates of obligation, and then they're gonna add another tax on top of that? That's my question. Of another 5 million. 5 and 11.3 million amounts pretty close to $16 million. What I'm saying is, it came out here that there's 7 projects that you all want to work with, Mr. Mayor. Do at least 2 or 3. You don't have to do all 7 at one time. I know that they're all important. Relocation of railroads, the landfill, vehicles, ambulances, traffic control, the streets and drainage, that's important because of hurricanes. Right-of-way, purchase of right-of-way, at least do 2 or 3. Let's don't indebt the taxpayers, which are us, more into debt, because you 4 or 5 people will be gone in another year or 2. You'll be replaced by other people, yet we're going to be stuck with all the amount of money. Not only ourselves, but our children and the children that are still unborn. What I'm saying is, be reasonable. Calm yourself down. Come to your senses. Don't go out for too much of a debt. The road to serfdom is more dead. Give us liberty, not more dead. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Dag. We appreciate everybody that comes here to give their opinion. Mr. Sanchez?
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for allowing me to talk. Thank you for the spraying of the mosquitoes. It did well. I know they were biting there for a while, but then we saw the truck out there spraying, and boom, the mosquitoes were gone. Thank you, Commissioner. On the certificate of obligation that has everybody concerned, it would be interesting if we could know who presented that to you all, or did each of you all get together and create all of that and bring it up? But it would be very interesting to see, thank you, it would be interesting to see who put that together and put the package in here, because that might be wrong. And also I ran into Commissioner Najera from the PUB, who's present here in the chambers, and I asked him if the $3 million that were sent from PUB to Brownsville, if that was going to get repaid. And it looks, he told me this evening, it's not going to be repaid. So that makes me concerned, because we got the $3 million from PUB. You're getting some free electricity and some free utilities for all the municipal buildings, plus $3 to $4 million cash yearly. There's got to be some balances, some control here. I know a lot of it's not your all's fault, and a lot of these debt occurred 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago too. But just be careful, and you don't have to say yes. You can say no. The cost of living here in town is of concern to me. I got 4 children. My wife and me were blessed with 2 boys, 11 and 6 years old, and 2 baby girls, 3-year-old and 1-year-old. And the cost of living's just been tough. I got the 2 Captain Bob's seafood restaurants here in town. I hope Hudson doesn't bring in Joe's Crab Shack, because that could be a nightmare. We already have enough nightmares in town. The cost of living's real of concern to me, and I think that should be something that you all should think about as you govern. Lower the cost of living. It's too high. And that's why they're concerned, and all these comments come. But, you know, I'm 44 years of age, and I love Brownsville, and Brownsville's great, and my kids love it. And I just wish the cost of living could get controlled. If you guys could get unity and get together and try and put your minds together, all of y'all are capable of doing great things. Y'all are real smart, and I got trust in y'all, but just come unified. And Mayor, there's a lot of people proud of you, sir. And
Time's
you
up.
too, Melissa. It's a shame that commissioners are absent. If a commissioner's absent, there should be an election immediately and replace him. Maybe the doctor has a good reason.
His time is up.
Thank
Your
you
time's
very
up.
much.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Appreciate it. Okay, that ends the public comments. Anybody that has a concern is welcome to contact management. We cannot exchange with the person who comes up here to give his views. Oh, you have one more? I'm sorry, Mr. Oresti.
I have some pictures.
Okay, yes, you do.
Roberto Uresti,
My
1220, Calle Pluton, Galaxia. When the low pressure came in, certain cloud decided to stop at my house. And this is what happened. We had another flood down there. This is Calle Pluton. And the water didn't go like last year all the way to almost to my car. This time it was pretty easy. I called PUB immediately to ask them to come down to make sure that the drainage was open. It took them a day to come in the next day, and then they told me the drain was working. Took a day.
Well, there was 7 inches of rain you got.
Just in that one area, sir. The rest of the Brownsville was dry, basically. Okay?
True, my district had a lot of.
Thank you.
Could you tell me what time of day was that?
It was after the meeting we had on Tuesday. It was last week. It
How long
happened.
did the
sir.
water sit?
Huh?
How long did the water sit?
It rained for one solid hour. The water stayed there for about 2.5 hours, but it still drained for a whole day. For a whole entire.
Our water usually after it's, and I'm sorry, Stella, give them some more time so I can just explain to them real quick. It takes about, after a good solid rain, it'll take the pumps anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour for the water to get out and go out into our drainage, out into the river where it's supposed to go. Where we had a lot of rainfall, so it'll take it about an hour and a half. But please understand, and to all the residents, they need to understand that after we get a rain, it takes anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour for the pumps to activate and take all that water out of there. So that's probably, we had a huge amount of rain, but eventually it will, it does recede.
Thank you very much. But I was concerned for the rest of the residents because the water does affect some people in the Calle Espacio. That's where they get wet. The next picture, you cannot see very good, but this is where CC Wings is, next to PUB substation. There's a street called Father Mesta? Okay. About 1/4 of a mile, the sidewalk has disappeared. I already talked to the, I think, Public Works, and they're going to take care of it tomorrow, and I'd like to congratulate them. My question is this. The city ordinance should have been looking at this a long time ago, and it's overgrowth. There is no more sidewalk, and actually the street has disappeared too. Next picture, please. Real quickly, Fire Marshal took care of this right now. Selling cars on public property is not good, okay? And this was going on for over a week, almost 2 weeks. And it's funny, the fire hydrant's right there too. So it's kind of bad here. That's Calle Pluton also, okay? Next picture, please. Mosquitoes, we still have many mosquitoes. I know that Mr. Robert Sanchez said that you all were doing. You can't see very good, but this is a car going down on Boca Chica, and I thought it was the mosquito people spraying on Boca Chica. But basically, this car was blowing so much smoke that there needs to be an ordinance, please, about smokers, and the police need to stop them because actually, this is really killing not only people, animals, birds, everything, the environment. Sir, this car was so bad that even I tried to get away from this guy, but he seems like he followed me. He probably knew I was from Calle Pluton, so he wanted to get rid of me too. So I'd like to say thank you for the city for the quick actions. They're taking care of the cars. They already took care of Fire Marshal Lenny. He did a wonderful job. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Mayor, may I just make a comment, maybe just to you? And I'll have to pull up my email records, but the whole Father Mestas, the whole Calle Espacio, the whole grass off the sidewalks and in between streets is a pet peeve of mine that I hate seeing around town, and I have a lot of that in my district. But in an email to Mr. Santana, and I know he's not here because he's on his annual vacation, and I have to forward to Mr. Navarro, they were made aware of this weeks ago, if not months ago, of the need to go in that area, as I've surveyed it and tried to do in other areas, to get the grass out, herbicided. If there's embedded with grass, well, then you need machinery to go in there and cut that up. So I appreciate the resident who lives in my district bringing the concerns, and I will make a public plea if I haven't pleaded to him before. Don't hesitate to call me for any questions or concerns, and that goes for anyone that lives in the district or outside the district. Please don't hesitate to call me at any time of the day so that we could work together on solving any types of issues they may have. The day of the hurricane, and I'll be real brief, the day of the hurricane, I was out in that area, and it was about 1:45, 2 o'clock. Mind you, it had been raining 8 hours. 8 hours of rain, and that street and any of those streets, not one of them were flooded. 8 hours of rain, not one. But again, weeks later, because of all the water and the buildup, you have that. And it goes back to water needs to drain properly in all areas of town. So I asked the resident, and I appreciate Mr. Udesti for making his comments. Please don't hesitate to call me. And if residents don't feel like calling, that's fine. That's their prerogative. But again, my number is 534-7204, and I'm here to help.
Thank you, Commissioner. As the city manager and all the director staff is here to help, we went through a tremendous rainfall with Alex and the tropical depression. The city got back on its feet right away. It drained, mosquitoes were sprayed for, and the city did a good job. Okay, is there any more public comments?
No, sir.
Next item, please.
Item 16, consideration and action to acknowledge the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau quarterly report.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, my name is Mariano Ayala, President and CEO of the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau, your Convention and Visitors Bureau. I've been here all evening, and it's kind of disturbing, but the citizens have a right to voice their opinions, and there's a lot of negative things that are going on, weather, et cetera, et cetera. And although we have a tight budget at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, I want to say that I'm excited. I'm happy for Brownsville. And I'm going to tell you why. We hosted Mel Gibson. All right, Mel Gibson, everybody, what's the big deal? The big deal is that we had business. And what this did for Brownsville is the fact that he's going to go out there and brag about Brownsville and the way they were treated, the hospitality that was shown, the local talent that was there. I'm going to give you a lowball figure of what we guesstimated, because I'm going to wait for Mr. Peter Goodman, who called the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and my wife is still upset at me because I didn't tell her Mel Gibson was coming here, because Peter told me not to tell anyone. And I kept my word, didn't I, Peter? But lowball, we're looking at 160,000, 96 room nights. We're looking at around, and I'm not going to go into complete details because I want to also touch on something else that we had in June. The Texas Police Athletic Federation, or the Police Olympics, came to Brownsville. It's the second time they've been here. We had 373 rooms rented for at least 4 nights. We estimate about $300,000, and that's low budget, low ball. After that, we had Hurricane Alex, and it postponed, listen to the key word, postponed and not canceled the state Little Miss Kickball tournament. They could have canceled it and taken it somewhere else. But because of all the hard work and the team effort from the Little Miss Kickball, from Brownsville Parks and Recreation, the CVB, the hoteliers, all the work that had been put in, Little Miss Kickball postponed to the following week. Although we didn't get the numbers we anticipated, we still had 370 rooms rented. We estimate about $300,000 of income, lowballing. I'm excited because the city of Brownsville is starting to work together. I can honestly say that Parks and Recreation, Mr. Chris Patterson and his staff, outstanding. Mr. Tuffy Martinez at the sports park, Delina Barrera at the sports park, outstanding. The University of Texas, Brownsville, TSC, has just formed an athletic task force. Thanks to Mr. Camarillo, I was invited to be on the task force. We're looking at expanding the efforts at the university. We're trying to bring national conference championship games to Brownsville. That's a cooperative effort with the university. You already know the cooperative effort of BISD, the Convention Visitors Bureau, and the city bringing the state UIL soccer tournament. I want to thank Mr. Leo Garza, Jeff Johnson, Evaristo Gomez. We're trying to bring a conference of inspection builders to Brownsville, something they have in Dallas and Abilene, I think. We're trying to bring it to Brownsville. And it was these people that thought about Brownsville, and they called us, and we're trying to get this conference done. I want to thank Arturo Rodriguez, Judy, and Chris from the health department, because they're going to have the bi-national conference in Brownsville. The first thing they did, they called the Convention and Visitors Bureau so we can work with the hoteliers. This is why I'm excited. This is why I'm proud to say I'm from Brownsville, because we're coming together. Although we've had a hard time, the numbers aren't there. We know they're not, but we can't stop. We have to have a positive attitude. And because of these people, Brownsville is still on the map. Upcoming events, we're going to have a flag, first a USSSA regional softball tournament at the sports park on August 21st to the 22nd. October 8th, 9th, and 10th, we're going to have a flag football tournament. The other thing, I hired Mr. Skip Killer, if you all remember Mr. Skip Killer, as a consultant. The reason why, he is such a valuable asset. He is well known nationally and statewide as far as bringing tournaments to wherever he's at. And I hired him as a consultant to see if we can get more tournaments, national and state tournaments, back to Brownsville. And to show that we're serious, we're going to be a sponsor at the Texas Amateur Athletic Federation, which is going to have their conference at the island in September. We are also going to work with a sports park and hosting a hospitality room. Once again, cooperation among different entities. Upcoming, things have come to a halt, but guess what? We're looking at going after the hunters, fishermen, working with the hoteliers. I met with Mr. William Garza, who in turn will talk to the hoteliers. I spoke with Mr. Eliseo Davila, who's well known in the fishing community and hunting community. We're going to work with people that bring down hunters and fishermen to see if we can market a package and advertise in Louisiana and Alabama, where normally fishermen would go, but due to the problems they had with the oil spill, we're going to see if we can capture some of that market. And once again, we're working cooperatively with fishermen and hunters. We're going to also be traveling to teams and also to USSSA national and regional conferences to bid for national and state conferences as far as athletics are concerned. Something that we have been working on is called the Texas Golf Splash. We're trying to bring a women's fast pitch, collegiate women's fast pitch tournament to Brownsville during spring break. Right now, if you go to the Texas Golf Splash webpage, I went to the national conference with Mr. Denny Gilbertson. You go to his webpage, and you will see that there's 40 teams from all over the country that are interested in coming to Brownsville. What's the reason? The reason is that they've been going to Florida, Arizona, what have you. They want someone unique, a different place. We're trying to capture that market. Data. Ms. Zamora, you taught me well. In our Google, visitors that have hit our Google page or have requested information on Brownsville. Throughout the country, for this quarter, we had 14,000 hits, 8,000 coming from around Texas, 600 from California, 300 from Florida and New York. So as you can see, people from all parts of the country are interested in us. From Canada, we had 336 hits. Calgary was the #1 site, and Vancouver was the second site. We got 15,600 hits from other countries. With the United States, remember, we also, the United States considered a country even though we live here, 14,000 hits, 600 from Mexico, 200 from Canada, and 100 from United Kingdom. Sorry, it's stuck, but I'm nervous, believe it or not. From Mexico, 600 hits. 96 from Monterrey. 70 from Mexico City. Not very much. Why? We know the problem that's going on. People are afraid to travel. Are we supposed to stop? No. Let's go ahead and continue publicizing in their newspapers and show them that they can still come to their city, Brownsville. And I congratulate you, Mayor, from last night's event. I was there with my lovely wife, Patty, and I was impressed by the students, their dancing, their culture, their language, very unique, and the pole, the way they wrap it up, that's beautiful, and I'm glad to see that we're still working with Mexico. Please go to our webpage, ladies and gentlemen. This is your webpage, Brownsville Convention Visitors Bureau, and you will see attractions, a list of events. The hotels are listed there, and although you might not think it's a lot, but we have a counter at the very bottom left-hand corner. We've had 144 countries hit our webpage. United States, we have 100,000 people looking. Mexico, 6,000. Canada, 3,000. Germany, 500. United Kingdom, 500. India, 200. France, 190. Spain, 175. Italy, 140. Brazil, 118. China, 114. Philippines, 114, etc., etc. This is your webpage. Go and check it out. If you have an opinion, feel free to call us and give us your opinion because we don't know it all. Maybe you see something we can improve. Walk-ins to the Bureau. As of this time, we have 9,911 walk-ins. At this same time last year, we had 9,000, sorry. As of right now, we have 9,900. Same time, this time last year, we had 9,780. So we've improved a little bit in walk-ins.
This is for the quarter, right?
Huh?
This is for the quarter?
For the quarter, yes. I went to Texas, the Market Texas Tourism Office of Governor, Economic Development and Tourism, Texas Hotel Performance Report for the first quarter, all day today, and this is why they turned in the report to the city secretary. I was hoping they would post the second quarter to see the difference, but all I have is the first quarter. In our metro area, Brownsville, in revenue for average rate, we have increased from $29.62 to $30.86. That's $1.24 increase in the first quarter. Number of rooms, we lost 4% in rooms. And for us to have a $1.24 increase, that's pretty good. We also have occupancy point. We increased from 48.5 in 2009 to 53.7 this year, which is a 5.2 increase. So for the first quarter, we did okay. It's not, and I put McAllen, I put South Padre Island, Harlingen, and Corpus Christi. And this is going to be a part of the report, and I don't have to go over it. But it would be drastically unfair to compare ourselves to South Padre Island and McAllen because of the number of rooms they have versus ours, the number of dollars they have to advertise versus ours. So it's not apples with apples, but I thought it was important enough to put it there so you all could review it and study it. And once again, if you see anything for room of improvement, feel free to call us. I'm not going to go over the monthly tax receipts at the governor's office, but I have all year right here, and I'll make it part of the budget, the report. The last thing I want to bring up about the Texas police games, and someone told me, Bean, you got to start patting yourself on the back. And that's what I'm going to do for the city of Brownsville. This is not a Bean event or a Convention Visitors Bureau event. If you notice, we have a brochure. We put out 1,400 brochures and hand-delivered in their package to every person that came to the Olympics. I want you to know that this brochure cost me $200 because of the sponsorships and what have you. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the way we did the social night, we entertained over 1,000 people. Commissioner Atkinson was there, city manager Kabler was there. We had music, we had food, beverages. Cost you $800, $900 to host over 1,000 people. Why? Amigo Land, Mike Belleville helped. The way we fed the people, I asked 6 restaurants in Brownsville if they would help us. And they came forward. We had a la Taste de la Frontera. We had 6 restaurants of different types that fed over 1,000 people at $0 to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I have some brochures left at the Bureau in case anybody would like to pick one up. I want to thank everybody in the city that helped. I want to thank the citizens of Brownsville. The police want to come back in 4 years. Little Miss Kickball is going to come back in 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the only reason people want to come back and they're bragging about Brownsville is because we're uniting. We're showing them hospitality. We're showing the friendliness that Brownsville is. Although our economy is hurt, we welcome people and will continue to welcome people. I am proud to serve you and the citizens of Brownsville. Because of everyone's effort, Brownsville looks great, and I want to thank you, and I'm open for any questions.
You want to repeat the website for citizens to know?
Brownsville.org, www.brownsville.org.
Convention Visitors Bureau, if you want to look into for information. Any questions? If not, thank you, Mr. Ayala.
Thank you all.
Who to acknowledge? Second.
This is the acknowledgement of action item. The motion by Commissioner Moya. Second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zamora. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 17.
Item 17, consideration and action to extend the city's depository contract to First National Bank for an additional 2 fiscal years beginning October 1st, 2010.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, 3 years ago, we requested proposals for depository services from our local banks, and the contract was awarded to First National Bank. Now, the Texas Local Government Code allows cities to retain a depository contract for at least 5 years. So we are requesting the City Commission to extend for 2 more years to have our depository at First National Bank.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 18.
Item 18, consideration and action to authorize the acceptance and expenditure of the Texas Division of Emergency Management Fiscal Year 2010 Emergency Management Performance Grant awarded to the Brownsville Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security in the amount of $43,749.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, this is the 12th year that the City of Brownsville has been awarded the Emergency Management Performance Grant. This is a Department of Homeland Security and FEMA funded grant, which is used to partially reimburse for the operating expenses of the Office of Emergency Management here in Brownsville.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 19.
Item 19, consideration and action for the Brownsville Fire Department to donate obsolete equipment to the Matamoros Fire Department.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, I ask that this be tabled. There's a misprint on that. It was supposed to be a donation to the state of Tamaulipas. So I asked it be tabled so I can
So
bring it
moved.
back to you.
Second.
Motion to table. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
It's, no, it's already, you can talk to me afterwards if you like. Okay? No action was taken. It was tabled.
Item 20. Item 20, consideration and action on resolution number 2010-050 to acknowledge a petition by the City of Brownsville from entertainment district property owners, and further creating an entertainment district public improvement advisory committee, outlining responsibilities of said committee in dealing with related matters.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this is a owners-initiated petition of the entertainment district, which are the property owners along Market Square and Adams Street. This is basically to develop an advisory committee to look into the feasibilities of developing a public improvement district.
So moved.
Okay, first let's discuss a little bit. This was initiated to bring the Downtown Development Corporation back to life as Ben was working on it. I solicited the support of a gentleman back there who I've known almost all my life. To my regret, his name is Ernie Elizondo. He started this petition that was supposed to be representative of the overlay district and the Downtown Development Corporation. Mr. Elizondo owns property on Adams Street, and he relayed what we're trying to do representing me and the efforts we were doing to revitalize downtown, while at the same time the planning department was working again to bring together the Downtown Development Corporation so we could unite the stakeholders through a workshop here through the planning department to bring ideas and everybody also to know what the city wanted to do, what we could do with the stakeholders, and what was being proposed or what was could be considered, and that was the purpose of trying to bring everybody together. I think to short circuit this by focusing on one street is going to be divisive, and it should include the whole overlay district for downtown. I think it'll serve the same purpose, but it's not excluding anybody. We get to hear here in the chambers through a workshop ideas and get some direction as to what we want to see happen downtown, because what you do on Adams Street is going to affect Levy Street, and I think it will create resentment if we leave people out. So then I was looking at the resolution to work in unity. I see here you would be creating a committee, okay? And I like the committee to be of what it used to be downtown, not just Adams Street. And if I recall, when we had the Downtown Development Corporation, we had representatives from the planning department back then too. So we're going to create a committee just for the entertainment district and a different one for the rest of the downtown. I think it could lead to some conflicts and maybe some hard feelings, because we're going to be talking about assessments, okay? And maybe going after funding through GIBIC. Several creative ways to revitalize downtown, and tax abatements, and maybe rerouting traffic, the streets the way they are now. There's a lot that's going to go into it, but I think we should hear from the stakeholders themselves and not just one group and get ahead of ourselves. So based on that, according to Ben, you think you can get everybody notified within 2 weeks?
Mayor, yeah, we could get the people that were on the corporation, yes, notified in the 2 weeks. What we want to do here with this resolution, and the intent was to do it in phases, as you could say, and start with the entertainment district. And we were working on developing the organization of the Downtown Development Corporation.
So you're recommending this?
Well, I'm recommending this because I do not want to stop the efforts of a lot of people that have gone into, and I think we can accomplish what you want eventually with the Downtown Development Corporation.
I just want to make sure on here where it says item 2, that nobody with a criminal record serves on the committee?
And I think that's city policy, Mayor, that you have that through the forms.
Okay. Nobody with a criminal record serves the committee.
Right, that's in our forms, right, City Secretary?
Mayor, may I have the floor?
Sure.
You know, I I understand your concern, Mayor. And
That's not a concern, it's done.
Well,
It's
well,
already-
that's
it's
fine.
already disposed of.
You know, again, a lot has been taking place, and I think the last thing we want to do is stop progress. And I think that by approving the ordinance, or I'm sorry, the resolution, it's going to allow for other things to occur. And I think many things still need to come back to the commission, so it kind of safeguards who gets put on, you know, including the members, not just within the entertainment district, but maybe a few outside members, which would be decent representation anyway. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But I think, you know, we all want to see things happen. And I think the Development Corporation is a great idea for the entertainment district. And then that's going to expand itself down the road. But we're taking care of an area that obviously we need to begin somewhere. And if we look at, you know, the pie in the sky and just, you know, where do we begin? We'll try to do 10 different things all at the same time, and then nothing will get done. So the reasoning behind this, and I think everybody, city staff is on the same page. I think we need to make sure that this thing proceeds forward, Ben. And I appreciate all the work that you all are doing and all the other volunteers that are helping out, making sure that the owners and other retailers are informed.
Again, with this petition, it's owner initiated.
We have a motion by Commissioner Triani.
Second.
Yes.
Second. All in favor? Any
Aye.
further discussion?
Aye.
All opposed?
I think we're good.
Carries. Okay. Next item.
Item 21, consideration and action to authorize the acceptance and execution of a grant in the amount of $192,571 from the Texas Department of State Health Services.
I have a quick question, Mayor, and or quick statement for you, very quickly.
Grant?
It's this is a grant. This is a grant, but it's $192,000, just like we just said. There's no matching funds. There's nothing else. It's the best thing we've done, and I know that everybody's supportive, but I wanted to make sure that I let you all know that the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston and the Texas Department of State Health Services and our grants people were very instrumental in getting this grant. They'll go to play for playground structure in the Buena Vista neighborhood at the Recreation Center. It's going to be state-of-the-art, and I'm very proud to say that South Texas doesn't have this type of, it doesn't have this type of playground, so appreciate all your support.
Move to approve.
This grant, I'm going to say no to this.
Move to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo. Can we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Triani. Any further discussion?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 22, consideration and action to authorize city manager to accept grant number SAT01-141-11 from the Automobile Burglary and Theft Prevention Authority for the South Texas Auto Theft Enforcement Task Force project for fiscal year 2010-2011 in the amount of $1,017,871 for the police department's share being $504,512.
Mayor, members of City Commission, good evening. Requesting authority for the city manager to accept this grant from the Automobile Burglary and Theft Prevention Authority in the said amount. This would be our 19th year of funding that we have received funding from this authority.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zamora. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item.
Thank
City
you.
Secretary.
Item 23, consideration and action to award a contract for real estate acquisition services for the Brownsville Planning Department.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. It is the intent of the Planning Department to engage a real estate firm or right-of-way agent for the acquisition of 42 easements for a 20 feet easement for sewer line for the Villanueva stormwater sewer project. The selected vendor, in this case, the one that we're recommending, will provide review appraisals, title reports, and negotiations and closing services. Staff recommendation is to award a contract for real estate acquisition services for the Brownsville Planning Department to Halford Associates, excuse me, of Richardson, Texas, for a total fee schedule for work authorization in the amount of $168,000. That's for 42 parcels to include appraisal reviews and negotiation services for a unit price of $4,000 apiece for a total extended price of $168. The contract will commence, will be completed within 30 to 45 consecutive calendar days. And funding, it's available from the Texas Water Development Board funding in the amount of $273,000.
Okay. This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Terriani. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Sure.
The recommendation is to go to half associates,
The recommendation, yes, ma'am, is for Half and Associates.
but they didn't receive the highest score, so is there a reason?
No, the reason why we went with the second highest ranked firm is because we couldn't, the highest ranked firm submitted a proposal, a fee proposal, and then we negotiated a best and final proposal. But then, due to some concerns with the money that we have and also with the services, we decided to go with the second highest ranked firm. So as part of the proposal, if we cannot agree with the highest ranked firm, we have the right to go with the second highest ranked
But
firm.
if the highest ranking firm put in the best bid, no?
No, it's based on qualifications.
Qualification.
Once you qualify the firms, you ask the highest qualified firm to submit a proposal. If negotiations
Then
are
you're more
not there,
comfortable
then
with
you can proceed with the second one.
We have a motion, a second.
Did that answer your question?
No? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item?
Item 24, consideration and action to award a contract for Phase 2 roof repairs at the commemorative Air Force facility located at Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport.
Staff recommendation is to award a contract for Phase 2 roof repairs for the CAF facility located at the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport to Valley American Contractors of Brownsville, Texas, for a base bid amount of $57,600. The engineer cost estimate for this project is $61,500, which is $3,900 higher than the recommended bid amount. The contractor is obligated to complete the work within 30 calendar days, and funding is in place under account 91-9126-848-269 of the GPIC funds, as well as state RAMP grant funds.
Okay. This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Motion approved, Commissioner Zamora. Second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Item 25, consideration and action to award a term contract for temporary employment services on a rotation list for the city of Brownsville.
Staff recommendation is to award a term contract for temporary employment services on a rotation list for the city of Brownsville to different departments, to two firms, Staff Force of Brownsville, Texas, and Express Professional Employment of Brownsville, Texas, at the stipulated prices. There's a price matrix included with the agenda. Now, this contract shall commence upon award by City Commission and shall expire September 30th, 2010, with two additional 2-year extension at the same quoted prices. Funding for this procurement it's in place, or it will be from each user's department's operating fund.
Okay, this is an action item.
Move to approve.
A motion to approve. Any further discussion?
May I have a question?
Yes.
These positions, obviously, they're, maintenance worker one, they're given to each department, and they have so many hours that they're allowed to
As needed.
hire a temporary?
It's only for 6 months.
Okay.
It's only to cover temporary services.
So the worker positions that are outlined below are only given for 6 months. They can only have 6 months at a time, 6 months period.
That's it,
To hire
yes.
a temporary worker.
Yes,
Okay.
We have an
depending on
action
the funding.
item. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Can I have a
Thank
motion
you.
to adjourn? Motion to adjourn, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, consent.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for your service. Commissioner, the same way, thank you for your service